What's up, everybody? Welcome back to your favorite wrestling podcast. It is the Monday Night Wave, baby. And we back with a special episode. This is going to be our Bad Blood recap / AEW episode. You know what I'm saying? I go by Jay, the one, the only, the babyface is babyface, your mom's favorite babyface, you know, the musical one, the producer, the one who's the glue to this whole thing. But I would be nothing without my co-host, Mr. Y2H. Hiroko himself.
Yeah.
Come on in.
It's time to break the doors down, baby. He is a wild card. He is the king of gorgeous. He is Mr. Sexiest lottery. He is Hero. Yeah, and I am he. And like he said, it's a special episode, so you know what that means, baby. That means I gotta bring in my high counsel. He is the TOC, the other co-host. It's DT.
What's happening? The other co-host is here, the OTC of the Monday Night Wave. Let's get it.
Yeah, you know what that means, baby. Oh yeah, that means we got the three of us, and we're gonna form a triangle of mega powers, and that power is so triangular, brother, that every angle is a perfect 60 degrees. That's right, geometry. Oh yeah.
Every day is something new, bro. Every pod is something new. It's always something different. He comes up with this shit on the fly, too. It's like, this man was like a freestyle battle rapper. He'd be the greatest ever. It's just off the dome.
Hey, I'm just glad that he was able to get it to 180 because I was nervous. I ain't gonna lie.
This man's math. If your math wasn't mathing.
Hey, no, I looked it up to make sure I didn't fuck that up because my math is terrible.
Okay. We got some news to talk about before we get into Bad Blood and AEW's 5-year Dynamite. Keeping in the realm of AEW, we have first wave of news is that the Max deal happened. It seems like the deal was AEW signed to WB for $185 over 3 years, with the 4th year option that has like a significant pay bump on it. Big money compared to the 2020 deal, which was $175 over $4 million. So they're getting their 4-year total in 1 year plus some. With this comes Collision and Dynamite is going to be simulcast on Max in January 2025, as well as I believe the rumor of pay-per-views also being on HBO Max during that time
At a discounted rate.
At a discounted rate. So I'm gonna leave it to the audience here. How do we feel about the WB deal finally being announced, and also does this make you more inclined to watch now that it is on like a Max or something like that, or maybe not personally, but does this bring in viewerships on Max?
I'll go for it. I think it will bring in viewers because you have to assume, similar to Raw's Netflix deal, you have to assume that not everyone has a streaming app or whatever app that might be for streaming. Like I don't have Apple streaming services, but I know a lot of people that do have Apple TV or whatever. So you have to assume that some of your fan base or audience is not going to have it. Thus, they might, if you're HBO or if you're Max or whatever, I'm like, okay, cool. Like you can bring in some new fans or new customers via this new product. I think it will bring in more viewers. I think people will feel inclined to watch. If you're someone like me who's been watching the last 5 years, I don't personally feel more inclined because I have my own problems with the product itself. But I think that this, no matter how people can spin it, whether you are super AEW, super pro AEW, or super anti AEW, there's no way to spin it and say that this is not like at least a W for them. They got it. Like this is a win for them. We got a TV deal. It's finally out. It took 7 months to announce it because Tony Khan was teasing this shit in March, but we finally got a TV deal. So we know that they're not going to go anywhere. So that's good. It seems like they're going to get rid of Rampage. So that's good. We still don't know what Shockwave is, so we can twiddle our thumbs with that. That could be a new show or whatever the hell it is. But I think overall, to answer the question, I think it's a good deal for them. Yeah. So yeah.
Anytime you are making money and you are closing deals and it has a positive effect on your company and those who work for you, it's a good thing. I think for me personally, I'm someone who has HBO Max, and for a while, HBO Max was better than Netflix. Netflix started to get their stuff in order, but
Not their
I'll be
prices though.
more inclined to.
Netflix is
I'll be
tripping on
more
the price.
inclined to. I'll be more inclined to watch it because one is going to be at the tip of my fingers, and then I have it all over the house. So it'll give me a chance to finally sit down with the product, and because I don't have cable. I said this last time I was here. I don't have cable, so it'll give me an opportunity to watch it. What I'm not pleased about is what I just learned from you, loaners, that they're going to make you pay for the pay-per-views on there. So. Yeah, I'm already giving HBO money, giving Max money. I'm not that inclined to give them more money. So, yeah, that's that for me.
Yeah. Yeah. To piggyback
I
off
feel
that, I feel like it is kind of irritating that we would have to pay anything since we're already paying for the streaming service. Like that's like
correct.
have like with Peacock, that's like them asking for an extra $20 just to watch Bad Blood or something.
Right.
It is good that it will be discounted, but I do think it is still kind of like irritating that we have to pay extra. But then again, like AEW gets most of their money from their pay per view buy-ins and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, you got to
And
do what
I
you got to do.
wonder if that's because like I don't know if it's true or not, but like they were saying like WB has like some stake in AEW. Is that like another way for WB to recoup some money from them by having pay-per-views cost?
I believe
I don't
so.
know per se. Um, so we'll just have to see what the discounted rate is. I think for me personally, like the 25 is probably where I cap out at. Anything over 25, 30 max, bro, I'm not buying. Um, with that being said, when the deal being announced, what is something from a production standpoint that you would like to see them add now that you have this money? What's something that you would like, damn, this would help your product out a lot more?
Um, I think anybody who, because I've watched a couple of episodes, I just feel like the presentation should be different for the more important wrestlers, those who are tied into whether it's the belt, whether it's the a storyline that they're building, showcase them differently. So as an outside viewer, I can tell that this person has some sort of importance, and that what's going to happen in the ring is going to be important. Also, I would like to see more angles than just the standard angle that I keep seeing all the time. So I don't know if they're doing it on other shows or if on pay-per-views they have multiple different camera angles, but from the times I watch AEW, I would like to see more angles on the ring and the wrestlers and what they're doing, and then just see a different level of presentation for the wrestlers that are supposed to be important or viewed as important based
So
on yeah.
more production value, just up the production value a little bit
Yep.
with angles.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's like I'm in the same realm because for me, it's like lighting. It's like one thing I
Mm-hmm.
do really appreciate about WWE shows is the lighting. I like how bright it is. I like that you can see everything. Like it feels, I don't know, like just the presentation just feels a little bit better. What about you, Hero?
Not to dunk on it, but a part of that is because of the lack of fans that they have in the
Fans.
arenas. So, like, because which I hope with this HBO thing, I hope that we get to watch some of the older episodes. I would like we talked about it before. I would love to like rewatch the first year just just to see the difference, or some shit like that. And yeah, so I think because of the lack of fans, like you have to darken the arena a little bit, so that kind of fucks with the lighting. But to piggyback off of both your answers, I feel like one of as far as like what you as far as this money goes, yeah, I think production is where it should be focused. Um, Not to pocket watch, but like let's say because the first number was 150, then it went to 175, then it went to 180. 100 of that million is strictly for the talent for the most part because of how much
I think
talent
they
they
came out
have.
in
And
30 mil a year on talent.
yeah, something like, or I don't know.
Hmm.
Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. Tony needs
That's
to
what I
finish.
seen. I thought
Yeah,
it was
he needs
30
to.
mil.
Okay, well, I saw that like majority of that 100 is because like Swerve got a bag, Okada got a bag, Mercedes got a bag, Osprey got a bag. That's not to mention Young Bucks, Kenny, whatever. But again, I'm not trying to pocket watch. I just yeah, production. They needed to do better with the visualization and the presentation of the show. And I feel like there has been a couple vignettes, like with what's going on with White Pool Combat Club. Like some of their videos they've been presented good. They look like they're filmed more than just on Darby's cell phone. But and that's not a shot. Darby does film a lot of the stuff. If you guys didn't know that, but yeah, they just need to present it better so that it doesn't look like I'm watching this on Pluto TV type of thing. You know.
All right, so we all in agreement that the production value should be one of the forefronts for this new money. Getting out of it, and I guess kind of staying in the realm of AEW, just want to send a speedy recovery to Luchasaurus, who we found out earlier this week collapsed at his home and that he was battling pneumonia. That is no joke. There's no joke at all. So I'm definitely sending him a speedy recovery, because that shit's scary for sure.
Yeah, and during the 5 year, they were doing ROH tapings, and apparently Sammy Guevara got badly injured, and then there was a woman that got badly injured too, whose name is slipping from me, so I apologize. But yeah, prayers to her. Sammy, he could do whatever, but prayers to her and prayers to Luchasaurus.
All right, we're gonna get in the meat of it. We got some comments from Triple H, from the press conference last night after Bad Blood. The man says he doesn't see color.
Essentially, it was a little more in depth than that, but overall, the umbrella is I don't see.
I have the quote. I can read the quote.
Yeah.
He says, I don't see the difference in anybody. I don't see the color. I don't see the nationality. I don't see any of it. I just see the talent. I don't see the difference between men and women. I see talent. We tell stories with those talent, how they can handle those stories and how they can represent those stories and how we can bring those stories forward. I don't keep track of any of that. I do what's relevant and what's the best in storytelling, what's being delivered the best. And that's what goes. No different than the men and women who are main events, whatever the biggest stories are, that's where we go. And this is in response to the reporter asking him, no black male representation on the PLEs. And I will fuck it. We've been talking about this for a minute, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've had deep group chat conversations about this for a minute. And from what our conversations have been like, it's been, there's no talent to be pushed here. We don't have anybody who is ready to go yet. We're looking at NXT and they have young stars on the rise, but currently on the main roster, people are either tied to like storylines or they're just not being pushed correctly, right?
Well, no, I would say in a tag team because my argument was that there's no solo black male talent currently.
Mm-hmm.
Currently,
except for Carmelo.
True, and he is doing his thing. I'm not going to knock that at all. I've said that. My issue with it all, and it was just that we can create these opportunities at any given moment in time. I'm not saying you got to break up Street Profits and to push Montez, because you can definitely keep him together and him still have this fucking magnificent run, right? And he deserves it so, especially after the fucking ladder match that we just saw Friday. Like, that man is beyond fucking talented. But my thing with this original statement is that if he doesn't see color, he just sees talent. That inadvertently sounds like you don't think black talent is ready or relevant enough to put on that stage with that kind of like comment. I get it. I believe me and DT have had this riff for a minute over this. Not over a minute, but for like, we see the different sides of it. He says that, you believe that you'll wait until SummerSlam. We'll give them time to like fix the mistakes, right? To be able to like push somebody by SummerSlam and then we'll be ready to go. We can see where that fucking goes, right? I'm on the opposite end of anything that happens now looks performative because you've been called out by the media and it shouldn't have taken the media to make you fix your mistakes on that.
Well, it wasn't the media. It started off with a tribalism argument. Like that's how all this started, was due to some tribalism. Like, oh, Swerve was on this pay per view. Does WWE have a black male? And it's specifically black male talent on PLEs, and that's why it comes off
Right.
like this whole thing comes off disingenuous. But you're right. Like if all of a sudden we see Apollo on every segment or Woods on every segment, then it's going to come off also disingenuous, and this is like it's going to be like a here nigga damn moment instead of it naturally progressing. It's just, instead of it naturally progressing and like we get to see these stars built in real time, because you can't just I mean, like you said, you can make a moment at any given time, but without it feeling disingenuous, it's going to be hard to do at this point. At this point, but I mean, I have a point. I'm sorry to cut you off. I have a point. I want to end it with it because I don't know. Sorry. Continue on.
Well, go ahead, DT. I'll let you get your side off, and then we can kind of like each have our own closing pieces on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's evident that comment wasn't the best comment. I'm definitely gonna sound like I'm caping for the man. I don't know the man, but the comment wasn't the best comment. It's obviously tone deaf and, if you will, colorblind. But the only thing to me that would seem disingenuous is if all of a sudden all of these belts start dropping and they start bringing up talent out of nowhere, or they take the IC title off of Jay and put it on Xavier Woods tomorrow or this Monday. Like there has to be, like, they're building stories now around it, and that's why when this thing initially came up on the internet and we had our discussion in the chat, I was like, hey, to me, SummerSlam, if shit is still the same at SummerSlam, then that makes the argument credible. It took LA 2 years to get his belt and pop, and to have a sustained pop every time he comes out. They like Damian Priest, same thing. It took Damian Priest a while from NXT to what he was doing with Bad Bunny to flow into Judgment Day, like to build the character, build the nuance, build the interest. Like if they turn around and just start dropping belts and giving people belts, then things might be different. And you can say that would be disingenuous, but yeah, if you look, to me, I would give them till next SummerSlam, genuinely, because they got to call up. Carmelo's in the middle of a storyline right now with Andrade, looking to take a step for the U.S. belt. That Trick is gonna get drafted. Obafemi's gonna get drafted. Like, they have people that they're building. That's my only thing. If there was absolutely nobody in the company and they weren't involved in any stories or weren't involved on a weekly basis, then I would say there's absolutely some credence to it. But like I said before, they tried to break up the Street Profits. People didn't want that. They brought Bobby over because Bobby didn't want to work with Bray. Brock didn't want to work with Bobby. Then Bobby gets injured twice. Now Bobby's with AEW. Shout out to Bobby for that. Like, there's different. They were gonna break up the New Day. They're still in that flux right there. So,
Yeah,
that's it. That's
they
it.
had
I'm not
Odyssey
saying
Jones
that
until he
he
fucked up.
wasn't wrong.
Yeah,
Well, that's NPC. He in there, out of there.
yeah.
Like Hope
But they
said,
was
grand
trying.
opening, grand closing. So, you gotta, if they're building the characters in a genuine way that makes sense, I think this is not that big of a deal. If, like I said, by SummerSlam, things are changed, you start seeing belts on different people and they're legitimately holding them for a sustained amount of time.
So with me, it's like I don't want Montez to come in here and just be the Roman and have 6-year fucking reign of the W title. That's not what my rant is or about. It's just more so like you can't tell me that there were 5 more talented people as far as like promo, presentation, and ability than Montez Ford. I don't think that exists.
Mm-hmm.
I think if Montez Ford was not black, he would be pushed to the fucking moon. But I think that like that also, you know, resonates with the like the lack of opportunity to keep trying shit, right? I feel like we saw, you know, a lot of non-black male talent have the ability to fuck up and keep going. You know,
Mm-hmm.
hey, Theory was United States champion, had a big push with, you know, beating John Cena. It didn't go nowhere, but now Theory can still be, you know, in the A-Town Down Under and have these moments to kind of like fix his way out of the fucking rut. And I would like to see those same opportunities push forward towards, you know, black male talent. And I'm trying to elaborate that, like, you know, also black male talent is also completely different than person of color or POC talent as well. They're two separate
Yeah,
things for
cool.
me.
Yeah.
But I just want to see, like, keep trying with them. Keep throwing dirt at the wall until something sticks. They don't. A lot of black talent don't get the opportunity to do that. Black male talent don't get the opportunity to do that. Like, we know Apollo Crews is a fucking freak of nature. Like, body's out of this world. He can do backflips. He's strong as fuck. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of like talented things that we see in that man. Cedric Alexander, another one who's mad fucking talented, got picked up because the fans wanted to see him, you know, it's signed to WWE. So there's a lot of fan backing for this male talent, just push them. But to sit there and say you don't see color, you only see talent, and we're mislooking some of the most talented motherfuckers in the business, at least in WWE standpoints, like that looks a little weird to me. And also in the same coin of like, you know, not seeing color, but every fucking faction is, you know, Bloodline. What do we see? You know, LWO, what do we see? Kabuki Warriors, what do we see? Like, we're not just putting it together because of what's the thing here? If we're not looking at talent or not, if we're not looking at color, what's the
Mm-hmm.
reason why they're in the group? You know,
Mm-hmm.
just, what is it?
Yeah, the I don't see color is a bad. I'm sorry. Oh, were you done? Or my bad. Continue.
No, just go for it.
Oh yeah, that's a bad take. It's a bad thing to say, um, or it's as DT said, it's tone deaf. It comes off tone deaf, especially in 2024. I agree with that. I just my problem with this whole issue from the get go is that again it started with some tribalism, and I don't understand like why we have all these parameters for like it has to be a black male and it has to be on a PLE. And then we can ignore the fact, like we have to ignore Bianca and Jade. We have to ignore all these people in NXT. We have to ignore all this work that is technically being done only because
Mm-hmm.
this one person or whoever isn't on a pay per view. To me, that's where like I don't understand this argument. Like I mean, I do understand it, but I don't like where it came from. Is just where it came from is so asinine to me to where I don't want to have the conversation anymore.
No,
You know, but
but like
and it's one of those
where it
things where
came
like
from,
every like what you know what happened on this SmackDown? There was a black talent in every match on this SmackDown. That's not getting talked about. What's being talked about is there's not a black male in PLE. What should be like? It just I don't know. To me, it's frustrating because there is work being done. What
well,
Triple H should have said is we're working on it and we're going to continue to work on
that
it.
would have been a great answer.
That would have been a
He
better
didn't
answer.
give that. That would have been the perfect answer to say, hey, you know, everything DT just said, hey, we're working on, we see the development, we got some guys in NXT that we're building up. Like, I would have been cool. He's aware of the issue, right?
So is it?
And
Let me ask you this then, real quick. Is it just the response, or is it because you feel like they're truly not working towards it? Because if you can watch the product and say they're not working towards it, then that's something I'll push back on you on. That's my only pushback.
no,
Because you get up there, lights is bright, and again, he's been answering questions forever. I get it, but there's times when you can, and again, I'm gonna sound like I'm caping for the dude. There's times when you can over-index and trying to say the right thing and not to offend anybody, and then you just offend them anyway, right? So that's my thing. Is it the actual answer he gave, or are you truly looking at the scope of the company and saying there's not enough of this happening right now?
it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
And I'd say like I do see the development happen in NXT. Me and Hero also talked about this before, to where NXT pushes are just completely different than like main roster pushes. So we won't know exactly how and what these opportunities look like until this NXT talent gets to the WWE main roster, right? But that's not knocking what they're doing in NXT. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they've been fucking killing it. on the flip side of that, to start the show saying like, oh, hey, we have a huge hip hop community. We're pushing. We see Metro. We see this. We see that. Shout out to the hip hop heads. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then come out and say you don't see color in Atlanta is asinine, bro. That's fucking crazy to me. It's like we can use the black dollar to make this bitch pop off to look like this is the best fucking party or best fucking whatever to be at. But then when it comes to the black male talent, you don't see color. Like, and like we said it before, like this best answer would have been to say, hey, we're working. I hear you. I'm working on it. And I'd have been cool with it. But I want to jump back to something real quick because Hero's like, he says it's the tribalistic thing that started this whole thing with Swerve and him talking about his AEW deal and his value, whatnot. I don't think it was the tribalistic part of it. I would think it was the value side of it. Because the two things that we talked about with Mercedes and Swerve was the value aspect of it. And that's what kicked off everything. His money, how much money he's getting paid, and the fucking, what was his worth to WWE. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like what started this whole shit. And then it just got out of hands. And you have some grifters who turned it into the black tribalistic male thing. And I don't really give a damn about, like, when's the last time we seen, like, a black male on a PLE. I just want them used, period. I want them used and consistently used, and opportunities to happen for them multiple fucking times. Like, I'm not counting the fucking PLEs. Like, I don't care about that. It's bigger than that to me. Mm-hmm. But I digress. That's my fucking take on it. I mean, if he didn't see the value yesterday, today he definitely does, because there's definitely a lot of outcry about it, whether it's from people who are faking it, but there are definitely some people out there who genuinely believe that, hey man, like, these people deserve some opportunities and we should probably like change that.
I real quick before, because it sounds like we're about to transition. When you speak to value, when you speak to value, I'm just gonna pull the money out of it and focus on what you said of how the talent is being used or how they're viewed by the company. Mm-hmm. Do you think, and I'm gonna make a sports analogy, a sports reference here. Do you think it is better to be Dame in Portland or better to be Dame on the Bucks fighting for a championship?
I think they're one and the same. I think you're still Dame, who has the value of, we want you because of what you're able to do, mm-hmm. right? Whether like you are Dame on the championship team or you're Dame in Portland, we want you because of the skill set that you apply on either side of it, you know? Mm-hmm. I think on one end, in the Portland side of it, you got all the fucking love in the world. They know you, they use you, you're Rip City to the death of it, right? But on the other side, with Dame, it's like you're in Milwaukee, you have a chance to win a champampionship, but you're not necessarily getting the love that you had in Portland, right?
Right.
They don't look at you the same.
So I guess my thought process is this: would you rather be a big fish in a small pond, or a big fish in comparison, or same size fish in comparison to the other fish in a big pond? You see what I'm saying? If your value is higher in one place because they don't have the equivalent in talent, face, image, etc., right? And mm-hmm. they push you over here versus at the time when, if I remember correctly, when Swerve was with NXT and WWE, to my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong because I wasn't completely watching them, but there were more black wrestlers at that time.
Yeah.
Am I incorrect in saying that?
No, there was more black wrestlers.
There was more.
So then that's why I'm saying I'm excluding money, because money is money, and as part of the business, you get paid what you're worth. You get paid what the company views what you're worth. But in terms of, like you said, the usage and importance to the company, excluding the money piece, would you rather be, again, the big fish in the small pond, or the big fish with the big fish, or bigger fish in a larger pond, if you will?
On the
bigger stage.
I see and hear the analogy, but I
Yeah.
think it's bigger than that in the sense of like you just want to be heard. Like
Yeah.
you want your thoughts to be, you know, heard. You want to be seen. You want to be like utilized correctly. So whether or not it's the big pond or the small fish in the large pond, like it's just wanting to be seen, wanting to be heard, wanting to be
Mm-hmm.
effective in whatever you're doing. Um, and also when we do talk about like, I'm not talking about the money aspect of it. I'm talking
Right.
about like usage, seen, heard, merch,
Mm-hmm.
stories that I can tell, like stories that make it seem that they're not just based upon me being black, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like that kind of shit. Um, and I guess it's to each their own.
Mm-hmm.
To really get back to your question, it's to each their own. Like you could be the small fish in the larger pond, and as long as you're getting paid and you're in the system of it, you're fine. But sometimes you also could be the big fish. You could be the Dame in Portland, and like you feel like
Mm-hmm.
you are the shit, and the love comes naturally. The spotlight's on you, you know. Like even if Dame was getting beat or whatever, he was dropping 60, and everybody's watching the bubble, and it's like that's what built your stock up was because you were that small fish in that big fucking pond or whatever the analogy
Vice
is,
versa. Yeah. Yeah.
vice versa.
Yep.
Um, But we ain't gotta like stay here too long. Hopefully he hears what he said was incorrect. Hopefully, or maybe a little tone, maybe definitely tone deaf. Hopefully he's like, you know, just adapts and evolves. Like I'm not calling this man no racist or nothing like that. That's not what I'm saying. And nor do I agree with people saying that. But we'll see the change. We'll see how that fucking goes. Um, Getting out of like that, I do want to send shout outs to NXT. I did watch the CW premiere this week, and that shit was fucking hot. That shit was
Mm-hmm.
banging. I think honestly, and I was kind of like on the line of saying it a while now, but I think Roxanne Perez might be my favorite wrestler in NXT. Um, I don't know what it is about like her, but her talent is fucking crazy. The Julia match she had was good. Um, I like what I seen of Julia. It's too early for me to say a favorite of anything, but I do like
Mm-hmm.
what I seen. Shout out to Wesley and Zach Wentz. They had a fucking great fucking street fight. That shit was fucking great. Brutal fucking table spot, but them boys balled out. And then I also enjoyed the main event. So like the CM Punk guest referee match between Trick and Ethan Page. Um, I watched a lot of wrestling this week, and them boys definitely stood out. Like so, shout out to NXT, the debut on CW. It was great. I 1000% enjoyed that. Topics. Do you want to get into Bad Blood first, or do you want to get into the Dynamite?
Dynamite it happened first, and it's
Let's do it.
quicker.
We'll just blow through Dynamite real quick. At least like the big spots that happened this week. Let's see here.
Yeah, there's like 5 things that happened. There's only like 4 or 5 matches. It was very similar to a WWE PLE, if you would think about it.
Yeah, it was a lot of promo in this. A lot of like trying to
Mm-hmm.
fill in stories and whatnot with this episode.
So yeah, the show starts off with Ricochet and Ospreay, the dream match. I guess if that's what you call it.
I wouldn't say dream, not for me personally. Did you have any expectations, like high expectations for this match?
Me
Like,
no, because I knew what it was.
neither did
Like
I.
you could like
There you go.
it's one of those things where it's like you could like because Tony Khan just came out a week ago saying he doesn't think long term storytelling is a thing anymore. Even though 2 of his best stories were technically long term story with Mariah and Tony and Swerve and Hangman. But like you could tell from the get go that they were going to rush this match like soon as they got Ricochet signed, and you can tell by the way Ricochet and Ospreay talk to each other in their promos that they were going to run back the match that happened 7-10 years ago, and that's exactly what they did. So for me, I was expecting, and I was talking to DT about it a couple days ago. It was like I knew it was going to be an episode of Power Rangers, and that's exactly what I saw. It was 2 motherfuckers flipping around, doing shit, no selling poison ranas. Yeah, honestly, the ending is the biggest problem of this match. Otherwise, I feel
You
like it
think
would have.
so?
Yeah, because I mean, you just want me to dive into it. I'll
Yeah,
ride that.
let's talk about it.
Okay, well, yeah. So we get a competitive back and forth. Again, it's very. It's very if this is your style of wrestling that you prefer, then you're gonna love it because like you see like when they did the superhero pose thing, you see everyone stand up. Like this is that's their shit. That's the audience that they cater to. So if that's your style, then you're gonna love it. The problem with this match though, was so like they both do some no sell poison ranas to each other, and then I think we get a quick sling blade, and then they pin each other. So the ref essentially makes it a draw.
The double pin, yeah.
And then, crowd's like 5 more minutes or whatever. Ref restarts the match just for it to end in a DQ like 30 seconds later. That is the weird Tony Khan booking that just does like it's one thing to have multiple false finishes to like build up hype and build up expectation and but it's another thing to like it just doesn't make any sense. Just do the DQ finish in the very first place. You got the fans hype like so essentially the fans are like they're like the fans are going to leave or they're going to leave that match disappointed regardless, but there was a way like you either leave like there was a way to disappoint them less because it's like you have a good ass match, you end in a draw, you restart the match, and then it just ends in a DQ. It just doesn't make any sense. You should have just ended the match with the DQ and fuck the draw part because we're going to get a triple threat. It's already been announced. It was just weird. To me, like if I was in at the show, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on? Because it's just weird. It was a weird way to book that match. It's another weird like, and I'll compare it to the Liv and Rhea match from the Sharkade. Like, what happens at the end of that? It looked off, and that's because there was some miscommunication or some shit. But it just looked weird. It looked weird, like weird booking, and it's just weird.
Well, like it's actually kind of funny because in retrospect, for both of those spots, the Liv spot and the Ospreay joint, they were trying to elevate talent while doing it, right? Because Konosuke was the one that stopped the match, right? He came out, inserted himself in this rivalry. Therefore, that's why we get the triple threat between Konosuke, Ospreay, Ricochet at Wrestle Dream. In doing so, you build heat for somebody, right? But I also think that you could have done this, like you said, have him just come out and just interrupt the match from the jump, right?
Yeah,
you don't need the double finish.
Yeah, take away the double
He could have came out. Sense. Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. But in the way he does this shit, and he's done it a couple times, is to where like you get the fans really invested in like one of the 5 more minutes because they were confused about the double finish. Like, well, fuck it. Like, let's give them 5 extra minutes. Cool. They line him up. Konosuke comes out and he stops the dream match from happening for these people, right? So you don't get a clear winner or loser in the Ospreay versus Ricochet because now you can run that angle 6 months from now at a different show, right? You're just saving the finish or saving the win-loss for a different fucking moment. That's how that shit plays out. At least that's how it plays out to me. Does it make sense? Absolutely not. But do I see it in the realm of booking to kind of like, well, we didn't get to finish our match last time because of XYZ. Now at Wrestle Kingdom in January, we can do this one-on-one in Japan kind of thing. Yeah, I could see how they would play that because that's what they do.
Right, but you can still do that without the double pin because you're right. It's one of those things where because we are technically smart fans. AEW fan base is known to be quote unquote smart fans. So it's one of those things where it's like, are you building heat on Konosuke or does this heat go to Tony Khan? Because as a smart fan, I'm calling how weird the booking was. I'm mad at Tony Khan. I'm not mad at Konosuke. I mean, in particular, I love Konosuke.
Fans.
Yeah, but that
TK didn't go in there and stop the match. TK was just back there. He just booked the shit. Like, we can sit here and blame TK, but Konosuke is the one who got the heat from the crowd. He stopped their match from happening.
Right, but they're also smart fans, is what I'm saying. Like they label themselves as smart fans. So I'm asking. Well, I'm not asking you. I'm asking.
But just in particular, yeah.
It's just like who. Like if I was in the crowd, I'm not mad at Konosuke. I would be mad at TK because I'm like, what the like? Konosuke should have just did the DQ from the get go because you're still going to get that reaction of the dream match not finishing. Essentially what he did was give you blue balls twice in one match. That's not cool.
It's not, but and the thing is, like, it's like you also don't have to wait too long for that match to happen because it's going to happen next week. So you get to have your dream match 2.0 or 2.5 now with Konosuke in it. at Wrestle Dream on next Sunday or whatnot. So I see it, I get it. It didn't make any sense to me either. I don't like the double finish. It felt weird, but I understand from the booking aspect of what you're trying to do.
It was a good match, but it was a bad ending. That would be my
Pretty
take
much.
on it. Bad ending, but good match. And I think Adi Konosuke, which I think it was, to me, it's a way so that Will or Ricochet can't, either they don't take the pin, like someone like one of them, and not take the pin. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ricochet pins Konosuke. Or
I would be surprised. I want the opposite. If Konosuke don't come out with this belt, there was no point in having him introduced in this way or this manner.
So someone could take the pin, because like we talked about it. I thought they should have waited for this match. You don't, like, it's too early for Ricochet to take a loss, and Will doesn't need more losses right now. But he needs to get this title off of him, and this might be the smartest way to do it, is have a triple threat so that he doesn't get pinned. But
and Will's stock don't take any losses. It doesn't take a hit because he takes the L's. Like, Will's also very credible of, like, okay, he took the L, he's going to bounce back. He's kind of like invulnerable in the sense of, like, when it comes to L's, because Will Ospreay is that big of a fucking draw. Like,
but
I haven't
already lost
seen
like
where, like,
3
damn,
times.
like, his stock is dropping.
No, his stock
is true.
His stock isn't dropping,
but
you risk of it dropping. Like, for, like, and I don't want to. This is apples to oranges comparison, but like when Cody's first year and a half when he came back to WWE, he didn't lose.
No.
And if he did lost, it was like in a tag match or something. Like he lost to Brock. Like, he rarely lost. And Will has already lost a big title match against Swerve, and he lost to MJF. You don't want, like, you can build Ricochet stock up without diminishing Ospreay's stock at the same time.
Right, and I think by doing that, you can also do it to where, like, let's say next week, it's a fucking Dallin Cowles will be a part of it somehow. It's 2 of his most important talent. He's going to be a part of it somehow. We saw that Will didn't want to use a screwdriver last time. Let's say Kyle Fletcher wants to use a screwdriver, or Konosuke doesn't really give a damn. Somehow, some way, there's going to be some kind of, like, outside element to this match. This won't be just a straightforward triple threat match. So somebody's going to be protected by outside interference anyway, whether that's DQ, whether that's whatever. But his stock won't drop. That's true. So we're going to see something happen. Something's going to affect this match some way, somehow. We also get the Hangman versus Juice match. This is stemming from the Lumberjack match on Grand Slam Collision, where Hangman tried to hang Juice. And so they get a one-on-one match during the AEW Dynamite 5-year anniversary. But the big story about this is that post-match, Hangman wins off of a low blow, buckshot. He tries to hang Juice again, and now we get Switchblade Jay White returns. It looks like Jay White is in babyface mode. He's going to be the babyface in this feud. It hasn't got announced for Wrestle Dream yet, although I don't see why this wouldn't be one of the matches for Wrestle Dream. I'm okay with Jay White coming back and being the babyface. I think this is great. I don't have anything crazy to say about this feud as of right now.
No, nor do I. But yeah, it's glad to see Jay White back, and hopefully, that's all I'll say. It's good to have him back. We'll see what happens.
Quick little hits here. We see that Jericho calls out Briscoe for the ROH title. I don't like that. I don't like it at all. It doesn't make any sense to me why you would need Jericho to go back and fight for the ROH title when you have people who could possibly fight for the ROH title. We had D versus DMD. I saw this match getting bashed a lot while it was happening. When I watched it, I didn't see nothing too fucking crazy about it. I didn't see like it was a bad match. It was just
Britt's not that good. I think
like
not to knock her.
I think this is better than
the
Sasha match she had. So like, yeah, like I'm not expecting Britt to come back and give me bangers. Not yet. I don't like the fact that she introduced herself into the world title shot. I don't know how that makes any sense either, but apparently next Tuesday she gets a kind of like a contenders match for the women's title.
Britt does?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's wild because Mariah's beefing with Willow, or at least they're trying to.
And I think it's Britt versus Willow. I think that's what the match is for next week. We get the return of, or not return, but the announcement of Shelton Benjamin in AEW. I like the way they did this. I like the whole promo segment part of it where, you know, MVP says he don't take complaints. That seems like something for this guy over here. Cameron Pants, Shelton Benjamin, Big Pop. Once again, this just confirms that the Hurt Syndicate is building up in AEW, and Bobby's probably going to show up next week. Like, I think that's probably what's going to happen. And also because there's no swerve on the title shot. There's no swerve on the match card in Tacoma, which I think he should definitely be wrestling in Tacoma.
Yeah.
Is it Tacoma or Spokane? Because
Wrestle Dream is in Tacoma because it's at the Dome.
Okay, and then something is in Spokane.
The Dynamite in Spokane.
Okay, because I was looking. I was trying to see if I could. Anyway. Yeah.
Private Parties are going after the tag belts against the Young Bucks. They have a match. I think it just happened on Collision yesterday that confirms that they'll face Young Bucks at Wrestle Dream.
Okay, wait. Okay, so I'm confused about this one.
Yeah.
Because Private Party was literally just beefing with Whitepool Combat Club.
Yep.
Why? I don't know what I missed because I felt like I've been paying attention, so I don't know what I missed. So like, why why is why? What's like? Where was the deviation?
I don't know, but there's some weird triangle happening between, like the bullies that are being targeted by the new BCC and the Elite, because. Remember when the Elite did the whole promo where Mox called Jack a good kid, right?
Yeah.
And at that point in time, I'm thinking that like, okay, well, Elite and the new BCC are on the same side kind of thing. They're all rocking together or whatnot. That's not the case because in this main event match, the new BCC is taunting Okada too. So I don't know what the hell is going on, but there's something aligning with this fucking like story that I'm not seeing. I'm trying to piece it together. It makes no sense to me. Maybe, you know, the thread is a little too loose, but there's definitely some interwoven connection between whatever the people who are being bullied by new BCC to the Elite. I have no idea what it is, but I see the connection. Darby's beefing with Mox, that kind of shit. Well, like
Darby has an open. He's setting up an open challenge. He cut because he cut a dumb like again. Just Darby Allin's.
The bully promo was not hidden for me. I didn't get it.
He just looks like the biggest fucking dork. Like you gave up your match for no reason. You gave up a title shot for no reason. You lost it, and now you're setting up an open challenge. Like for what? Like why do you even have a spot on the card? But you know that's a lot of like that's just
He's not wrestling in Seattle. You know he got to get his shit off.
I know, but from the point of view of like you just lost, you look like a dork. How you lost? Like honestly, you shouldn't even show your face, bro. But yeah, I just don't like. It seems like they're trying to make it a universe to where not everything is separate. Very similar to the E. If you you remember the time when Judgment Day and Bloodline were semi working together for like a week or whatever for like right before War Games or whatever the fuck. So I feel like that's what they're kind of trying to do. But as you said, the threads are a little way too loose at the moment for it to make a lot of sense. But yeah, that was me. That was a general question because last time I checked, like they was beefing with Moxley. They were
beefing with Mox.
He had a homie with a hammer, and that was literally like 2 weeks ago. So
no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I don't know how they do it, but it's going to wrap up and make sense somehow. They do have stories where they do drop like storylines and whatnot, but I figured this Private Party's way too in the mix right now for them to drop the story. Main event was Bryan versus Okada. Continental Classics is on the line for 20 minutes while Daniel's title is on the line the entire match.
Weirdest stipulation I've ever seen. Again, just make the match only for Daniel's title. You didn't even need it was a hat on another hat, and the Shark was wearing all three hats while he jumped over a cage.
For sure. And it was there was overtime like a motherfucker. This match probably went over I think it was like 30 minutes out or over like they're allotted 2 hours.
Yeah, Khan announced that there was going to be like a long overrun. So yeah, there was which
it was long.
yeah, it
Pause.
yeah, it was about a third. Yeah, so the show as a whole was about two and a
Hey,
half
no.
hours. It was about 2.5 hours.
It was.
Yeah. But also, I think there was weird communication with this because, like, Okada got distracted from Claudio, but I don't I don't think they were trying to antagonize Okada. I think Okada just dropped the ball and got distracted. And he's like, "What the fuck what is these racists doing out here? Am I in trouble?" Even though he should have focused on he should have focused on getting the pin. He hit 2 rainmakers, and he's looking around. He's like, "Oh, these aren't my white boys. Where's my white boys at?" Yeah, I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't think they were really trying to go after him. I think there was a language barrier. He just got confused. He's like, "What the fuck is going on?" Which made him look stupid, in my opinion.
So, like,
because they're all heels. Like, why is a heel confused? Why another heel is out? Even though, like, I'm assuming you watched the show, Okada. So I'm assuming that you know that they just choked him out once with the plastic bag. So why are you distracted?
Why put yourself in a situation?
Like, focus on winning the match, my nigga. You could have won the title. You worried about the wrong white people.
But here's the thing, because we'll get to we're getting to the end of the match. End of the match, because he's distracted, he gets hit by a roller from Daniel. Because Pac's out there, Marina's out there, Claudio's for the first one seen in the crowd. I don't know what they're playing at here. I don't know if this is like the Team AEW versus the Elite versus the new BCC kind of angle. I have no fucking idea. But based on like the promo afterwards, Mox get on the mic and he's like, none of this is about him. None of this is what he wants. He's planning for something much bigger than himself, and everything he does is for something bigger than himself. If it was up to him, he would have taken care of Danielson a long time ago. So it seems like Mox is not moving on his own accord. It seems like there is some control over Mox. There's some like outside forces making Mox move like this.
That's being speculated, and it's being rumored that it's Shane. But I mean, it could be. I'm still to me, I don't know. Everything he says comes off white nationalist to me. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is, like, he's just saying that to say that. It's like, this isn't for me. This is for the. I'm here to make AEW great again. It's not about me. That's what it comes off to me. Like, it doesn't mean to me. It doesn't necessarily need to be a extra puppet master
outside force.
It could be, and if it is, that's fine. Hopefully they nail the reveal if that does happen. But it doesn't, like, I don't know. To me, the promo is still vague enough to where it could still be him. It could still be like
it's so ominous.
Yeah, it's very vague. It's like it could still be me, or it's like, because again, it's not about me. He wants to change the company. He feels like people are stagnant. They're not doing shit. We're trying to, we're taking over. So yeah, there doesn't need to be a puppet master from behind. There could still well be though.
Yeah, if there is an outside force, great. If it is Shane, cool. I'll be interested in seeing how they play that out. If it's not, then it's just him moving on his own accord. Cool, but also doesn't make sense because you said you could have took care of Danielson a long time ago. Like, you didn't want to see him get this high to where he's able to get the belt and whatnot. Like, you didn't want to see him surpass you, so you could have stopped this like during his match with Swerve, and that would have made more sense. I guess he still did afterwards, but if you really didn't want to see him ascend to AEW champion, you would stop it before it happens.
See, what happened was Moxley was assuming Swerve was going to win, and then Swerve didn't. So he's like, my faith in black people's over. My faith in any race is over. So now we gotta take this shit. We gotta make AEW great again. that's what it is,
like
man.
Nigga, man. I don't like the way this man's brain works.
Are you listening to the vignettes? Fucking Marina Shafir was speaking German in the earlier fucking vignette.
This way that man read that was crazy. I fell for the hezzy no look. I'm like, we going this way with it? No, it was a behind the back pass that I did not see coming at all. This man is great, yo.
His faith in DIs failed. He's like, yep. Right.
That's funny because, like, I will never trust a black man again. And then he go and attack the white man who believes in saving the planet. It's like your motives are just so crazy right now. Yeah, he did get in Yuta's face too. Yuta was looking at him kind of crazy, so it could just be,
Well, Yuta's half
the whole
like
heel
Japanese,
aspect.
bro. I'm telling you, bro.
He was like,
This group
if
is.
he was the other half, I would have punched you in the face now. So
Maybe
yeah, we're seeing what you got, DT?
I was gonna say, I said, I guess this is what it looks like when they do see color.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, man.
Oh shit!
That man said he sees color and turned into a whole Nazi. Maybe we don't want this. Fuck. It seems like they're planning something for, I guess AEW's running on Tuesday next week, which I don't know why they're running on Tuesday. Is there something big happening on Wednesdays? Like, is there like a political debate or anything like that? I don't fucking know. But they're doing Dynamite title Tuesday, and none of the titles have been announced that they're up yet, except for the women's match.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the fuck's going on. It used to be really solid where Tony would tell you what the fuck was going on the week before.
Mhm.
Like, we would have the match card a whole week before the next fucking Dynamite, and I kind of want them to get back to that. But like, yeah, I have no idea what's on for title Tuesday, like, at all. And I haven't watched Collision yet, so maybe they announced some shit there. But as of right now, no fucking clue.
It's gonna be,
but enough of that.
It's going, and also real quick, it's going head to head with NXT. So Tuesday Night War.
Yeah, like,
yeah, I don't see anything.
I don't
on
agree
October
with that.
9th.
Yeah, I don't, and I yeah. If you don't see nothing on October 9th, and this is Title Tuesday for some odd reason, and no titles on the line. If you do Title Tuesday and no titles switch hands, this is a wash. I mean, this is a fucking wash.
It would be the first time that happened, though. Specifically,
but it's like
this company.
Why call some Title Tuesday and titles on the line and nothing changes? Like, I don't know. Somebody better lose a belt. That's all I know. Let's jump into Bad Blood.
All right. I mean, yeah, I'll start off. Opening scene. The opening video was absolutely hilarious to me, with Cody and Triple H talking about the stakeout, whatever, and includes Metro.
How many fucking Metros do you know?
Yeah, I mean, and again, the way it's filmed, when we talk about, I feel like when we talk about presentation, it's shit like this, or shit like, I mean, I don't know, multiple things, like the 8K camera on Roman, like shit like that. But yeah, that opening thing was hilarious. And then we get in the ring, you have the big three in there. They all look very nice. Or very nice. We get some crowd shots of some like people there. You get a Goldberg appearance. You get Killer Mike, and then later out through the show, you see multiple other people: Booker T, Mickey James, DDP, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, Quavo,
Jacqueline,
a lot of people. So yeah, that was cool. But yeah, the first match starts off with Hell in a Cell, and we get Drew and Punk. And yeah, how did you guys like the start of this? Because they start off bringing the
should have been the main event.
Should have
been the main event.
After watching the show,
I'm going out. It should have been the main event. For me personally, them motherfuckers was cooking for me. This made the list immediately for me. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Them boys was, yeah. They said, what bloodline? Fuck them some old niggas. Put us at the end.
There was a lot of blood.
Because they killed.
Yeah. I think we talked about this, and I swear I said the only way the bloodline could have their last show is if The Rock or somebody was coming back. The Rock came back, and that wasn't enough. I'm sorry. Should have been the main event.
That's crazy to say. That's so crazy, bro.
Yeah.
It's like Rock came back and it wasn't enough.
Sorry.
It wasn't enough because it was extremely vague. Like, he came out, he counted to 4, then he did the throat slice, and then he walked away.
Okay. We're getting too far ahead.
Yeah, sorry.
Let's talk about this.
Listen.
They cooked with this match. This match was fucking amazing, bro. I loved everything about this match.
Yeah,
there has to be.
Go. Sorry.
No. I was just gonna say there has to be another descriptive word to describe this match. because cooking is not it. They did something else.
Nah,
They did something else.
It was hooping?
Like
cooking. What's
I
above
don't
cooking?
even I don't even know if they
Put
was
your foot in
hooping.
it.
Like they listen. It was amazing. It was amazing from start to finish. From start to finish.
Yeah.
This is what I wanted out of this fucking beef. This is the best way to like conclude this feud. Like, I don't need another rematch. I don't need y'all to touch each other. I don't need y'all to just put hands on each other. Let this be it. Because they gave everything they got.
I don't even need to see y'all again.
Y'all better be in two different sets of the room, panels. I don't give a damn. Get away.
Yeah,
but
so wait, real quick. I saw a tweet, and it was talking about the last two. I want to say it was the last 2 or 3 Rumbles, and how the first 2 entries were like feuds. So like this last year Rumble started off with Jimmy and Jay. The year before that, it was Gunther and Sheamus. I'm calling it now. I think the first 2 entries is going to be Drew and Punk, if they keep that tradition.
Drew and Punk to run the feud again?
No, not to run the feud, but to be the first 2 entries of the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, just like the.
I can see that.
Just like with Jimmy and Jay. Yeah. Anyway, that was a quick tidbit. Well, I mean, it could always be somebody else. It could be Gunther. It could be Sammy and somebody. I don't know. Whatever. It was just something that came out. I saw.
I knew this match was going to be different when that man brought that table in and ripped the leg off the table.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. I was like, we're taking it here. I don't know if the table broke and that was just like you just audible, but if you did, that was a great fucking audible. Like I'm like, they getting down to it.
It was the
wrenches and toolboxes and shit. Like
the wrench in the head. I was in the eye. I was for it, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I was
Drew not blocking the toolbox to the head and just taking that motherfucker. Like just go ahead, hit me. 16 stitches, this man. I thought for sure he bladed, and I seen the pictures afterwards. Like, oh no, he got cut up. Like, he fucked himself up.
That gash was large as fuck. Yeah.
Drew, Cancun on us, my boy. Here, go.
Listen,
go on vacation. You deserve it. 16 stitches. Go somewhere.
Y'all want to put us at the front of the show? We're gonna bleed all over this motherfucker. Like
over this bitch.
And I was watching it and I was so happy. Like this sounds bad, but I was so happy. I jumped up and down as soon as he had the crimson mask and he got flipped over into the sharpshooter. I was like, oh, there it is. Like I was trying to tell my girl the significance of it and a call back, and it was. They didn't miss. Like there wasn't a point in time.
Nah.
That I remember watching where I was like, ooh, that's a little iffy, or ooh, their communication is not spot on there. Listen, hats off.
Yeah.
If there was a hats off. Hats off.
The motherfucking superplex to the table, bro. The superplex on the side to the table, like
the first GTS.
We gotta keep remembering both these motherfuckers is 40 plus, bro. Like they went wild.
Yeah.
Man. The first GTS was nice. That first Claymore was real nice.
The Miss Claymore on the steps?
Oh my God.
Okay, so that's the worst spot in the whole match. That's the worst spot in the whole. I don't even have back problems, and my back was hurting as soon as I saw that shit.
Oh my God.
That shit looks so bad, bro.
Hell no. I would not take that spot. You got me fucked up. They look like it, I mean, I'm sure. I mean, he's a professional. I'm sure he protected himself. But the way that it looked like it hit the very lower of his spine, like above the ass, like right where the tramp stamp would be. And you got me fucked up. I'm not taking that spot, bro. You can get the pin right now. I'm not taking that. Honestly, you could have pinned me right there because I wouldn't get up.
Me right now.
If I had an extra GTS, I would have quit. You got me fucked up. Ref, I'm done.
Yeah. That shit was bad, bro.
Before that though, the visual with the beads was a very cool visual, especially the way that
get these goddamn beads.
They're done. They're done. But
I respect it. I respect it because it's done. Yeah, you had to throw them out here to finish the shit.
But the way that it was a the visual of it. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be 2 for a second.
I thought it was a bag of tacks.
I'm glad it wasn't. But fucking just the visual of it, like when he was pouring it down, like the way that the beads were flying towards the camera lens. It reminded me of a 3D movie, where it was like, if this was a 3D movie, like the beads would be popping out in the theater right now. It was like, I don't know. It was just,
Yeah.
it was just like my cinematography nerd brain was like, oh, that was a fucking clean ass shot. It just looked super.
No,
it's peak villainy
it
too.
worked.
Yeah.
It worked.
Mm-hmm.
It worked. It was the get back because then you made him like swallow the beads. Like I had nothing wrong with the way it was presented in this match. I just hate the whole fucking bead element. We've talked about that. But for this match to conclude it, this was the best way to do it. Like, let me throw these beads on you. You put them in my mouth, pause. I'm gonna put them in your mouth, pause. And now it's over.
This
They need a
nigga is
bead swap.
Wow.
They need a bead swap.
Wow. That's about to be on Brazzers. Jesus.
Oh God.
Stepfather wants to do a bead swap. That's fucking wild.
Oh God.
Oh shit, that's great. That's fucking amazing, man. Okay.
Listen, anybody that's listening, if you didn't get it, that just means you got the mind of an angel. That's all.
Oh, fucking shit, bro. Look, match wraps up with the chain GTS. I feel like that was a great spot. I love the way to introduce like the chain. When he put the chain on his knee, I was like, oh, they're gonna end this with the GTS on the. That's solid. Was there anything about this match that you would have changed, didn't like? Would you had like altered it in any kind of way, or was this perfect all the way through?
I'll go first real quick. To me, it was. I don't want to say perfect, but I would say perfect. I thought it was well paced, similar to what DT said earlier. Like there wasn't a wasted motion. There wasn't any time in this match where I'm like, hurry the fuck up or anything like. It was 48 minutes, I think, is what DT said. It was close to a 50-minute perfect match, as perfect as you can get, in my opinion. The weapons that they chose to use, it made sense to me. Everything made sense. I don't think I would change anything. I don't want to use the word perfect, but that's, for a lack of a better term, I would say this match is perfect. And according to Cage side or whatever, they gave it a 9.37, and it's the 22nd or 21st best match of WWE company for their ratings. If people hold those ratings to a higher court, so
and the best match of the year, apparently.
It's definitely should be in there. I mean, if it's not best feud, I mean, to me, it's already best feud of the year, in my opinion. And I think that match, I think it should definitely be in the category for match of the year contender. I don't know if it'll win, but
Yeah. For me, I only had two things. If I'm being nitpicky, I would have loved for them to have a strap spot just to tie up, like a callback to all of their matches, if you will, and more usage of the cage. That's it. Maybe like rubbing somebody's face in the cage, or something while they're bleeding, something like that, and just a callback to the strap from the strap match from previous. But that was it. I like literally, again, those are two nitpicky things. Outside of that, everything was great. Everything was fire. I have no complaints, none. So they did what they had to do.
Yeah, I'm with the side of y'all. I think he won't use the word perfect. I will. This is perfect. Yeah. This is how it's supposed to be. This is the best way this feud could end it for me. Perfect all the way through. I will double down and say like maybe some little bit more cage elements happening. And also just the extremist in me and the kid in me. I would love to have seen somebody climb the top of the cell. That's it. But I'm asking for a lot. I know. I'm asking for a lot. I know. But other than that, I think the shit was great. I wouldn't take nothing back, like at all, or change anything crazy. And next up, we got what? Wait, what?
I was just gonna say to that, like there was a part of me that was like, oh, if they go on the top of the cage, who's gonna fall off? And I was like, it would have to be Drew McIntyre. I was like, but they're not gonna do that. They're gonna keep
No, no,
him.
no, 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 no,
Yeah,
no, 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 no,
yeah.
no.
No, he did that before, and he
Yeah.
just came out about how like he fucking hated that spot when he did
Yeah.
against Randy.
And like, it's selfish as a fan to ask for that. Like, oh, somebody do a spot off the cell. Like, nigga, you won't do no goddamn spot off the cell. Don't ask me to do it. Shit, you're right. 'Cause I'm not getting my ass up there. I will say this is the bar. They set the bar for like WWE matches for me, or at least on the male side of it. Like, if Bianca and Io got the bar on one end, Punk and Drew got the bar on the other end. Like, those are the two top matches I've seen this far from the men and women's division. Like, easy. Going into the women's side of it, we got Nia versus Bayley. First off, I love the red outfit from Nia. I thought that shit was fire.
DT, why don't you break us through this match?
Go ahead. Orchestrate it. Play me. ISO ball.
You run point real quick.
Talk about your queen.
Oh, not y'all put me on the spot like that. That's crazy. What can I say?
Nigga, the front of the class.
Yeah, hey, listen.
We said it was popcorn reading. This nigga start stuttering.
Nah, there, honestly, all bias aside, there were a couple of spots in that match that I was like, what was supposed to happen there? Like, y'all should have practiced that one a little more. I think if it would have ended cleanly, her reversal of the, what was it, a powerbomb she was trying to reverse into a Hurricanrana or something. If she would have, if she
the Nia Karana,
yeah, you want to call it, yeah, the irresistible Karana. Look, no,
Nick,
but the irresistible force, bro. That's what they call it. All right, that's what they call it.
them legs are irresistible force for sure. Gravity was not going that way.
Anyways, this was another great, aside from those two botches, another dominant performance by Nia, and Bayley kind of spoke to it when they broke the kayfabe wall. She got caught Pam before about Nia being dominant and being a force to be reckoned with, etc. And this match showcased it for the most part. Bayley survived the match, but she looked like a rag doll. She was getting tossed around, slammed everywhere. She fought hard, but all right, I'm gonna just say it. If you're gonna have Tiffy run down with the briefcase, she should have cashed in.
Okay,
I felt
this
like
is
she
gonna be my
should've
question
cashed in.
about this. Like, how many more times do you think you can run this cash in, non-cash in spot before you're like, bro, you gonna do it or not?
No,
Like, I'm not saying like she's done it a lot,
As much
but I'm
as
saying
I
like
want-
this is clearly what they're teasing you.
Yeah,
They're teasing
like,
the element of her cashing on Nia.
yeah, because Nia's being a bully. Nia's letting her know, hey, don't even think about cashing in because it'll be the worst day you ever had. Blah 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 blah. Like, to me, that's supposed to build for people to want Tiffy to cash in, for her to become the champion and get her one over on somebody who doesn't believe in her. I don't know how physically she's going to be able to win that match yet. I don't know how Tiffy's like repertoire of moves are going to be able to physically get Nia in a spot where she actually loses the match. So I'll be curious. I'll be curious to see how they thread that. But right now they're building obviously Nia as the bully, so that Tiffy can essentially be the face in that match off. So I just felt like the Undertaker sit up, that was a dope little nod.
That was funny.
That was funny, but I'm personally, out of the two, I'm not going to be rooting for Tiffy to cash in on her because I like Nia. But if she cash in, or she needs to cash in soon because it's obviously the thread of their relationship at this point.
Okay.
Okay.
I think because me and Hero had talked about it, right? To where like you didn't want to see Tiffy go babyface. You would rather her be a heel, right?
Right.
Oh, I was talking to Hero because Hero was like he didn't want to see her go face.
I said that. Well, I'm changing my mind. Well, I I think she is a better heel, especially with her accent, because I mean she has a Minnesota accent, but she's obviously trying to be Valley Girl ish. I think she is better as a. I think as of right now, she's better as a heel. But we also haven't seen her work
Mhm.
babyface that much, and I think it could work. And based off this particular storyline, that's what it's seeming to be. So, which leads me to a question. But I also want to talk about this match, or at least share my thoughts on this match. But it leads me to a question to where it's like, because it seems like obviously it's a bully scenario, and which is going
Yep.
to it's priming Tiff for a babyface run. And if like the match with Tiffany and Naomi this last SmackDown, she did a couple babyface ish moves. So I feel like that's them, you know, revving the engine a little bit, letting us know that it's going to happen. So my thing is, does she cash in if we're doing this like I don't know, there's ways to do it, but if we're doing this overcoming the bully storyline, do you cash in like how a typical person would cash in, like you just run in and cash in, or do you do a face cash in where it's like I am challenging you, I'm cashing this in, I want to face you? Which one would make more sense to you guys? If especially if Tiffany is going to be this baby face and she's trying to overcome the bully, does she do a sneaky cash in or does she go straight up to her face and be like, I think I can beat you. I want to cash in.
Oh,
As you guys think
For
about that,
me,
or unless you have your answer now.
go ahead. Oh,
Oh, because I was just gonna
I
say.
mean, I do have my.
Okay, I just want to talk about the match real quick. Nia hit a submission
Yep.
move that was fire. I loved it.
Yep.
There was a between the rope leg drop that Bailey did. I thought that shit was fire.
Mhm.
What else did I write down? Also, the women are fucking working.
that Super Samoan drop
And the Super
was
Samoan
fucking
drop.
crazy.
That was the spot. Yeah.
That was a good spot. I before you the last thing I have to say about this is that I think this was better, and this is not my first, this is not going to be my last time saying this tonight or during the show, but I thought this match was better than their SummerSlam match.
For both of them.
Yeah, I thought this
Or-
Bailey Nia
oh,
match
okay.
was better than their SummerSlam match. I thought Bad Blood was better.
Okay. Okay.
Is this the third time fighting? Because didn't they do Queen of the Ring too?
This is
Was that-
technically. Well, I mean, if you count NXT, because they did a little thing, Bailey is 6-6 against Nia, so now she's 6-7. But
No, I mean like just for like this year, like since Nia got the chip at
SummerSlam.
Okay,
Mhm.
yeah.
This is probably their, this is probably only their second or third time fighting since she came back to the company. Maybe.
Mhm.
I got to go back and watch SummerSlam match to really for sure say, but I did like some of the spots in this match a lot. Yeah, to go back to your question about Tiffy though, I would probably prefer the you didn't see it coming angle, like because this whole time you're like poking the bear, you're like you bet not ever cash in on me XYZ, and I think that it would sound a lot better or look a lot better if she did it when she wasn't expecting it. Like, oh, you didn't think I could beat you. You don't want me to cash in. Okay, here it is. Right now, after your match against fucking a Naomi or whatever, I'm going to cash in and I'm going to get my fucking shot.
I think.
Or maybe during the match. Turning the match into a triple threat will also be kind of cool, too.
I think for storyline purposes and like kind of what I alluded to a little bit ago, I think it would be better for her to do the face cash in. Nia can be out there in the ring. Nia's talking about how dominant she is, how great she is, and Tiffy has a mic, and Tiffy is essentially like, well, I'm going to cash in on you now kind of deal. I'm tired of the way you've been treating me and been humiliating me, and you don't think I can beat you. You don't think I'm on your level. Well, I'm going to show you. And I think that is going to, like, that kind of dialogue will be a definitive, like, line in the sand of full face, crowds behind Tiffy. Nia plays the heel as she's been playing this entire time. I think it would get a bigger pop in my estimation.
So we're going to do it like how E did it, to where E told everybody the week of, I'm going to cash in on Monday kind of thing.
No, I would do it like, because the show's 2 hours. SmackDown, you can give Nia a spot where she like I said, she's in ring gear. I guess that doesn't help. But my thought is that she would be in ring gear. She throws out a challenge or whatever the case. Nobody can touch me on the women's division here, blah, 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 blah. Tiffy's with her. Tiffy's got the briefcase and essentially cashes in. Because right now, after each time Nia humiliates her or bullies her, you get this zoom in camera on Tiffy's face where she feels sad, confused. She's contemplating all of those things. You see all the emotions in her face. But you can clearly tell that she doesn't feel confident against Nia. And I think her doing that and stepping up to her would like showcase that bully element of her ability to like stand up to the bully kind of deal.
Gotcha.
The other way I would book it, real quick, a quick fantasy booking, is that Nia, let's say Nia loses to a returning Charlotte. Then they have a rematch. Then Tiffy cashes in, makes it a triple threat. Nia doesn't know. Tiffy gets the belt. Nia tries to bully her to give her the belt, and that's how you further that bully storyline to where Tiffy's like, I'm not going to give you my belt. I won this fair and square type of thing, and then they can have that. Then they could have their match. I don't know. That's just another quick fantasy. But yeah, that was just a random question. But overall thoughts with the before we go to the next match, overall thoughts with this match, or any other thoughts with this match?
Nah, I thought that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we got Finn versus Priest.
The mask.
I think this is where it kind of the mask did look dope. It reminded me of Django though, where he was talking about his wife making the mask. And I can't see how these goddamn y'all ungrateful sons of bitches. My wife spent a lot of time making these. Yeah, it definitely reminded me of that.
He said, "I can't see in this fucking thing. I can't breathe in this fucking thing."
I think we all agree that the bags was a good idea, but can we not wear them this time? But wear them this time?
He said, well, shit fire. The whole point is go down in the mask and scare.
Yeah, that's funny.
He said, from now on, don't nobody ask me or mine for Nathan.
Yeah, that's exactly what I saw. Bro. I saw that. I was like, damn, this look like remind me of Django. I don't want to be. I don't know, man. This is where it kind of took a turn for me because I had a lot of expectations for this match. As far as like the same way we got the blood feud with Punk and Drew, I didn't expect it to be as bloody, but I expected some kind of conclusion here. And it felt like overall, this just you could have put this on Raw. It's the same like situation of interference that we see on Raw from the Judgment Day. The fucking punch elbow spot to Finn off the top rope was fucking crazy. That was a nasty little punch. And then also what kind of threw me off is that this motherfucker did 3 coup de grace on this man's back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what, bro? What is this?
I'm gonna let DT get his shit off, but this match is my biggest nitpick of the show. Finn Balor should have won this match. And the reason why Finn Balor should have won this match is because he did 2 coup de grace to his back. One of them technically hit the back of the neck. So you're telling me that the coup de grace as a finisher, hitting your back should be even stronger, technically. If we're gonna nerd kayfabe this, hitting 2 to the back, 1 to the back of the neck should be a stronger move than just hitting it straight to your sternum. So he hit 3 total coup de grace in this whole match. 2 was to the back, and then Priest catches him on the 3rd, and then just a fucking south of heaven, and it's over. Finn should have won this fucking match.
Yeah, I didn't like the match, bro. Like it just didn't do anything that I thought it was supposed to do. And it's I don't know, man. It's still convoluted story because like where do we go from here? Like, do you do Finn versus Priest again on Raw? Like what is it?
So
like,
I have like my the feelings that I had with Will and Ricochet is how I feel about this. Like I think this match was a good ass match. The ending fucking sucks. I do not like the ending. Even if Priest still won, then I'd say take away those 2 coup de grace to the back. Because now you're killing like you're nerfing his finisher, which is very similar to like when Seth had to give the Fiend 15 stomps to the head and he still fucking lost. You're nerfing the finisher. Like, again, like I tweeted, it's like I'm about to put weights in his shoes because what the fuck is going on here? Like he did two coup de grace to the. I'm gonna get into a tangent, but I think the overall match was good, but I think the ending sucked. And as far as your question goes, like where do they go from here? In a recent interview, it seems like the Terror Twins are about to split up. So it seems like they're going to go in different directions. But with the way that this match happened, I'm also confused where it's like, do we get another match? Because I feel like, even with the interference, Priest still won. So at this point, there is no, I don't know. I don't see a reason to have another match. I don't know. I'm confused. But do you see, what's your point on this?
What you got, DT?
The match sucked. I'm gonna keep it a being. The punch off the top rope was great. If I'm being honest, that's the only thing I can really remember from the match. It took, to me, especially coming off of the Nia and the Bayley match, it kind of took the energy out of the arena for me watching at home. I've spoken before, maybe not on the pod, probably on the pod, but definitely before in the group chat. I don't know what it is that they do not like about Finn at this point and why Finn keeps getting treated like the stepchild. I understand why Damian Priest won or has to win because he's technically in the main title picture for Raw, especially him coming off of losing it to Gunther, etc. But the match wasn't that great to me. The match could have happened at the beginning of Raw, as far as I'm concerned, with the way that it played out. So I'll just leave it at that because I really don't have anything nice to say.
Yeah, I will say this real quick. Let me retract one of my statements. Like, I'm not saying Finn should. I think Finn should have won the match. It wasn't a necessity that Finn won this match. I just don't like the two coup de grace to the back at all. Again, similar to the Will and Ospreay thing. I feel like if you just would have eliminated that and Priest still won, it's fine. I don't like the two de grace to the back.
I did have something I wanted to add real quick. I forgot when I was watching it or what 6 Feet Under podcast this was or whatever the case. But Taker talked a while ago. Someone asked him, hey, is there anything different that you would change about WWE now? And he was like, yeah, they don't protect their finishers. If you want to get your signature off 2-3 times and your signature, the dude pops up, kicks out 2.9. But if you do if that is like your finisher, like this is the one that's supposed to do it, like, yeah, it's supposed to be your strongest move for a reason.
Yeah.
So that's that would be, I would add to that. Like, protect your finisher. I don't know if that's they want to build the suspense in the match and
it gives a false finish, but there's ways to do false finishes without
ways to do that
without using your finisher. You know, like fucking like to piggyback off of that, like Baron Corbin's The End of Days, that was one of the most protected finishers for the longest time. The only person to ever kick out was Drew, and that just happened. I think it was 2 years ago, a year ago. And I was shocked because that's how his finisher has been protected. Like the 3D. No, as far as the Dudley Boys go, no one's ever kicked out of the 3D. Like it's your finisher. Nope. Like it should the only time a nigga should, in my opinion, should ever if it's a blood feud with the Hell in a Cell. Like I can see why you would kick out a GTS or a Claymore for that crazy blood feud. But if it's not a crazy ass blood feud and it's not WrestleMania, you should not be kicking out of finishers like that. At the best, it should be one of those ring awareness situations to where it's like, oh, he was just too close to the ropes,
rope break,
so he had his he put his ankle on there or whatever. But
or he rolled out after you hit the move.
Yeah.
Once again, ring awareness, and we talked about it before. Where I had issues with Cody and the triple crossroads. It's like you don't need to do the triple crossroads on everybody, bro. And it needs to be one and done. This is it. I'm the champ. You should be able to take this shit. But yeah, I agree. The double coup de grace into the South of Heaven was fucking nuts, and I don't know what the fuck they plan on doing with Finn, but we need Finn to get back to win Balor because that man's fucking phenomenal.
Man.
The Saudi title.
Yeah.
I have thoughts.
I have thoughts too.
I have thoughts.
You guys go first.
The Saudi title. The first off, he announces the Saudi title. He's like, "Oh, it's Crown Jewel," and not a pop in that goddamn building.
That was a letdown.
The people were like, "God damn, Saudi in this fucking shit." He lets us know, or Triple H lets us know that at Saudi, Crown Jewel is going to be champion versus champion, similar to like old school Survivor like series kind of rules where your champion from one show will fight the other. I personally wish this was on Survivor Series because I like that kind of stipulation, but I guess we're getting here. So it looks like it's going to be Gunther versus Cody at Crown Jewel, and then it's going to be at this moment Nia versus Liv for the women's side of it because he's doing both. And each will carry their own Crown Jewel titles. Now I'm gonna let it go to my colleagues here, and y'all have fun with this. Go.
I want to go last.
And I want to go. I actually want to go before Hero because first and foremost, design of the belt. WTF? What the?
That's an ugly ass belt.
Listen, it could be that shit could be worth $1 million. That does not look good. It doesn't look good. That's the first thing. The second thing, and I guess really my only complaint, truly, about the belt and the stipulation, is how important is it if it's only going to be one time a year, and we're probably not going to see it? Because why would the champion, whoever wins, carry that belt around for a year, and it's not in danger of being dropped? It can't get taken from them. It's a participation award. So just give them a cup. And on the cup, you put the winner for that year. The winner of the Saudi Cup, blah, 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 like that. My last thing was, it was a letdown because me and probably everybody else thought it was going to be a mid-card women's title.
Nigga, a mid-card women's title announced as fucking Saudi would have been fucking crazy. No.
No, not that it had to do with Saudi, but I'm thinking that they're going to unveil a mid-card women's title at Bad Blood going forward.
Okay.
I knew they weren't going to do nothing.
Nigga, I was like, Saudi. You're tripping.
No, because it could have worked at Saudi. I thought it was... They had the Queen in the ring. They've been having more women matches at Saudi ever since they started going to Saudi. It could have worked. I thought it was a mid-card title as well.
I ain't having my women's champions win this fucking belt in full up neck gear. No.
Not
happening.
So they got to show skin?
Y'all.
That sounds very unfeminist. No, I'm just fucking. I'm just fucking. Hey, somebody got to protect women on this pod. And let it be me.
So
the most controversial of this whole pod.
If it were me in that spot, what I would have done was have that be the mid-card women's title announcement and a callback to last night's performance with Michin and Chelsea Green.
Which was a fire match. Dumpster match was great.
Great match. That's the moment in time I feel like you capitalize on the energy. Because nobody's thinking about Crown Jewel. I asked Hero the other day, I said, are they even doing it this year? I haven't heard anything. Don't even know about it. And this is your way to say, hey, we are doing it this year. But like, to me, that was the perfect moment to elevate what the women have been doing in the mid-card and get it going from there.
So when I seen it, first off, ugly as belt. Talked about that. Don't like the belt design. I immediately knew it was going to be something Crown Jewel related because they had the belt on the fucking podium. My thing is that, like you said, you defend it one time a year. There's no heritage. There's no lineage with this belt. So in my head, it's similar to one of two things. Either the way, and both of them are AEW related. It's either this is similar to like the Owen Hart kind of like cup where you win the belts that way, or this is FTW where like we only do this just because it's like for this specific niche group. You know, this is just the Saudi belt. So there is no true lineage here. It's not really WWE like, you know, classified belt or qualified belt, but it's just for the specific group over here. And at that point, if that's what it is, cool. I just don't want this to be like, yeah, you know, he's WWE champion and he's the crown jewel champion. Like that just doesn't sound right to me. Like
And
at
then
all.
and then what? You win the match, and then you hold the arm up, you hold the belt up. Then we don't see the belt for another 365 days.
Yeah. No, not work. That doesn't work for me. Hero, what you got? And I'll get into like the second half of this.
Okay, so all right, so I'm okay with this to a degree. I will say that the cup idea I think is a lot better. The cup idea that DT had is a lot better. But when I first watched it, because I watched the show later than you guys, I also so my take is that it does remind me of the Owen Cup. That's exactly what it reminds me of. The reason why I am just kind of neutral and fine with it is because it, even though the title, and I will say the title is ugly as fuck, I want to jump on that train as well. Uh, and it also kind of reminds me of the Speed tournament. So it honestly reminds me of the Speed titles mixed with the Owen Hart, as opposed to FTW. But the reason why I'm okay with it as at least of right now is because one, like, they go to Saudi every year. They want Saudi to be a big show, and they've been trying to do gimmicks for this particular show multiple times, and not all of them have landed. Like there was they had a big Royal Rumble version where Braun won a title.
The greatest Royal Rumble.
Yeah, whatever. You know, they did King and Queen last year. Like they're trying to find a gimmick for it, and if this is the gimmick that they decided, okay, sure, I will let it play out. We're getting that Survivor Series type of thing, so it gives them the opportunity to give us certain matches without having to invest too much story time into it. But depending on but they're going to invest time into it. Like we're gonna get, well, we might, but we'll get at least 2 weeks of like Cody and Gunther interactions, and we'll see interactions with Liv and Nia hopefully. So this is opportunity to also build some random feuds, give those champions something else to do while you build up contenders for them. So that could be a plus. If this is all handled right, it could be a plus. The next thing is, so yeah, we probably won't see the title, very similar to Speed, but it gives that character bragging rights for the whole year. So I think that's what they're kind of also aiming for, where it's like, yeah, we probably won't see Cody or Gunther carry that title with them, hold both titles, but there will eventually be a lineage to it, because they'll be like, the first ever winner was Cody, or the first ever winner was Nia. Like there will eventually be a lineage to it, but like it also gives those characters like bragging rights for a year, to where you still get that SmackDown versus Raw type feeling, but it's not dedicated to the whole show like how Survivor Series was. And my other thing is that I feel like with them doing this, it's further setting up that women's mid card. I think this is another stepping stone to when we'll eventually get this women's mid card. And this is something, what I'm about to say right now, I have not seen anyone talk about on a pod. I haven't seen anyone tweet about it. So this is a Monday Night Wave exclusive. At least this is my theory. Based on the way Raw and SmackDown have been booked the last, I'll just say 2 months, it's, to me, what I've noticed is that on Raw, that's where they're paying more attention to the women's tag team titles. That's where most of the storylines with those titles they're involved with Raw. On the SmackDown side, that's when we're seeing majority of the mid card women's feuds. So there is a chance, it's one of those things that like they're working on it. Like SmackDown, if you want a mid card women's title feud, or if you just want a mid card feud, a quote unquote mid card feud, like that doesn't involve a title, SmackDown is that show right now, because you got the Meech and Chelsea stuff, you got the Naomi Tiffany stuff, like that's that show. With the on Raw, they're focusing on the women's titles, so that's why we're getting Damage Control, PFC, Unholy Union, Rave Girls. Like they're setting
Women's tag titles.
Yeah, the women's tag titles. Like they're setting storylines up for that. Like so, both shows are focusing they're both focusing on two different women's stuff, but one is for the title, like the tag titles, and one is just like strictly like women mid card feud. The women mid card just needs a title for its own, and I think that this crown jewel title is a further stepping stone that will lead us to that mid card title. And I think we will eventually get that because not only have the fans been claiming for it for years, also talent has been clamoring for it, especially in the recent last 2 years. I think that's something that we will get, I would say probably at Mania. But my overall take is that I'm neutral on it. I think we got to let it play out. I do think it's weird. I think the title's ugly, but it gives us opportunities to get certain quote unquote dream matches or certain quote unquote Survivor Series-esque matches without Survivor Series being fully dedicated to that, because it seems like Survivor Series is the War Games is that gimmick for that show now. Going further.
Yep. We get a quick little brief moment from Gunther. Gunther comes out, says, Sammy's not top guy. He can't be a top guy and whatnot. He then calls back to the Calgary Raw where he shouts out and says that Goldberg is his favorite wrestler. Goldberg's in the crowd. He confirms that this was a lie. You are not my top. You're not my favorite wrestler. How can I be impressed with the one-trick pony? Goldberg doesn't seem to like that. He jumps the barricade, gets hype. Sammy comes out afterwards and attacks Gunther.
There was two other jabs. He was like, I hope he's a better father than he is a better wrestler. And then that's when Goldberg jumped the barricade and Gunther was like, I got 3 minutes for you. Come on.
No, that's crazy. Yeah, I got 3 minutes was fucking wild. Keep Goldberg out the ring. I don't want to see Goldberg in the ring at all. I don't need him near the ropes. I don't need him inside. No.
Yeah, and not to comment on bodies.
No.
But he looked very, like, his shoulders and his arms look very, it looks like he's dropped weight. So I wouldn't expect him in the ring anytime soon, at least. It looks like similar to Batista. It looks like he's dropping weight, which is healthy for guys that you can't be super, unless you're Vince McMahon and you're fully on steroids and drugs and shit, you shouldn't be that jacked at a certain age. So it looks like they're dropping weight. I wouldn't expect Goldberg in the ring anytime soon.
No. Keep him out. He's probably gonna have a little spot in Saudi because they love, the legacy acts like Goldberg, Taker, XYZ. But no, I don't need Goldberg in the ring. Liv versus Dom or Liv versus Rhea. My bad.
Wait,
Dom is inside the Shark Tank.
Sammy did come out and it ended with a brawl.
Yeah. So a continuation to them bumping or promoting the championship match that happens on Raw this week. Liv versus Rhea. Dom's in the Shark Tank.
Cage.
Shark Cage. My bad. Should have been a Shark Tank. Would have been a lot more impressive. But
then Mark Cuban would have been there. You got to sell stuff. Like Mark Cuban's busy.
I feel like this match didn't need to have the women's title for it. Like they didn't need to have the title on the line. There's no purpose here. There was no crazy spots that I seen in this match. There wasn't anything crazy Dom did in the Shark Tank or Shark Cage per se, besides dropping toilet paper and falling out the goddamn cage. I almost gave people a heart attack when he did that though, because I saw like the audience fucking like, oh my god, he's about to die, and he was hooked on with one ankle. But I don't know. What did y'all feel? I wasn't fucking with it. I didn't feel like it was great to me, but that's me.
Yeah, you go. Or no, I ended the last.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought the match was good. I also thought that this match was better than their SummerSlam match. I did not like the ending. Very a la of two other things that we talked about. I didn't like the ending. I thought the match was good, but I did not like the ending. I thought it was interesting that the Shark Cage wasn't inside the ring, but it made sense because I was like, oh well, that's where the cell is. Because this is my first time.
Right.
This is my first time seeing a Shark Cage that wasn't in or hanging above the middle of the ring.
Right.
The Dom hanging spot that took me off guard, like because I was writing something down, and that's when I heard the audience gasp. And I was like, "How the fuck is he hanging all of a sudden?" I didn't see how that happened. I saw that he opened the door, and Corey's like, "Did you learn that in jail? Like how to pick locks or whatever?" And then I started writing shit down, and all of a sudden he was hanging. But I mean, I don't know. I thought, the ending was bad, but I thought this match was better than their SummerSlam match. Personally.
What you got, ET?
I knew as soon as he fell out the cage that he was going to be a pinata, and a part of me felt like
That was a good
there
spot.
was like some undertones, but because I was sitting there
Nigga,
watching it with my girl, and I was like, he about to be a pinata, and she like, what? I was like, watch. She gonna grab a kendo stick. Watch.
what?
And, and she goes and grabs a kendo stick. The only thing when she started beating him, candy or something should have fell out. If you're gonna do it all the way, bro. If you're gonna do it all the way. Something should have started falling out.
I mean,
It could
you're
have been.
right.
It could have
Niggas
been.
don't
It
see
could have
color,
been.
so it wouldn't have been bad. You just beat the
Yeah,
Mexican nigga with a fucking stick. And
He should
as a
have dropped some
pinata. Yeah.
chicken tenders from his pocket. That's what he should have did.
Yeah. That
having
would have been
chicken tenders
great.
in the pocket would have been
Exactly. It would have made it. Would have made it like that. Would have made Dom even more hated. It's like, oh, he keeps
Like,
chicken in his
dropping
pocket.
chicken
Yeah.
He should. Fuck. We gotta go back in time.
Chicken
He should
tenders in
have.
his pocket.
He should have dropped chicken.
He'd be like, my lunch.
Yes.
And you can, hey,
Oh,
hey, you
real
can hear him
quick,
screaming. Hey, you can hear him screaming. Not my tendies.
My tendies. No, that would have been great.
And then Rhea steps on
Lean
it.
into the comedic aspect at that point. Yeah.
Real quick, there was a cinematic opening with Liv and Dom's entrance that we didn't mention. I feel like it should be mentioned. To me, that was heat, like with them driving on in lowrider. That little cinematic with that opening entrance. To me, that was heat. That was
Yeah, I mean, anytime they pull up in a
driving
lowrider, that's hard. I'm sorry, it is. Like they could, it's hard, especially if
The
it's a different
hydraulics?
color every time. Fire, but as far as the match is concerned, I'm not going to talk about the obvious botching of the at the end. It was weird that Rhea or Liv couldn't get the Oblivion off. That was a little weird. But the thing I think I had the biggest issue with is actually Dom's presence. Because the fans, there were like multiple points where the fans weren't even paying attention to what was going on in the ring. They were yelling at Dom the whole time. And so for me, I was like, that takes away from what's going on in the ring. That was kind of like a nitpick of mine. Like I get it. They wanted to call back to because he spoke about it on, I think, Impulsive or whatever, about he was supposed to be in a cage when he was younger, when they were doing the Ray and the Eddie custody match, but his mom wouldn't let it happen. So I get it. Call back to finally getting him in the cage. That was cool. But his presence being there, from the reaction from the crowd, it took away from the match.
It did. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I absolutely popped when Show That Back Raquel Rodriguez popped up. I did. I know nobody else did because it was dead silent in the arena, but I was happy.
Yeah,
I
she
was
returned
happy
in no
with it.
pop, which sucks. I was happy with it, and I feel like I called it on the pod. Hopefully, a fan can point that out. I feel like I called that she would return and help Liv, but
And now, like, so, like, her returning, because, A, we didn't see it happen. We didn't see nobody, like, come out the crowd and like that. She just popped up and then, like, you know, started attacking Rhea. I think when it comes to, like, reveals like that, it should be, you know, a la similar to, like, especially because W is so cinematic, like, the way Jimmy was introduced, right? Where it's like, oh, camera pans up, he's just there. Oh, shit, who is that? Oh, it's Raquel. We didn't get that opportunity to do that with her. And then also just the way it ended, because it's like the bell rung.
Yep.
And then was this a DQ finish? But Raquel picks up Liv and throws her on top, and then but the match is already over.
yeah, that's where
I'm confused there.
Yeah, apparently the ref, like, this was them being smart, but like to a detriment. But yeah, the ref saw too much to where like if the ref would have took a bump on accident, then Raquel came out, it would have been different. It would have panned out more. But yeah, like I don't know. I feel like nerves were a part of it. I feel like there was a miscommunication because yeah, like Raquel shows up, she does the Tinya bomb or the I don't remember the
Tejana
her
or something.
finisher.
Tejana bomb or something like that.
Yeah, you speak Spanish, you know.
Duolingo, baby.
And then then she puts Liv on top, for the pin, but the bell was already rung. Yeah, I feel like there was some miscommunication / nerves, and also I don't know who produced the match. I don't know, something went a little bit awry, but which is why the ending was bad.
So going forward, it looks like there's probably going to be a feud between Raquel and Rhea. Liv has like has a bodyguard in Raquel, which I'm okay with, but at the same time, I just want Liv to be able to stand on her own and just fight.
Well, she's
Right?
part of the
I
Judgment Day.
need
You can't stand on your own if you're in the
which
game.
hides but it hides the element that she can't do it without them, and I don't like that for like the women's champion. I feel like the women's champion should be able to like hold their own and like get to it kind of thing without the
Liv is
effect of like your
5'3"
group kind of. I know
versus Rhea.
I know this, but it's like we could figure out something, man. Because similar to the SummerSlam match, she did go crazy in the SummerSlam match. So I know Liv can do it.
I thought
she's
Liv was
capable of having those kind of matches.
Yeah, I thought Liv was going crazy this match. There was Liv dominated early, but there was a point in time where Liv was in that ass for a minute, which is why I think this match was better than her SummerSlam. I just think the ending fucking sucks. But again, like she's part of a faction. Like, how many times have we talked like Roman's reign? Every match ended with some interference. Like if you're in a gang, it's going to happen. It's just it kind of is what it is.
I feel like it's also a cheat code to like hide like your hide potential flaws, or inability to do something. At least if this is the case, fine. All right. Rhea's big as fuck. Okay, have the next feud be against fucking Zelina or somebody her size that she can really get busy with. I just want to see her get busy. Like as the women's champion, I just want to see it happen, bro. Like that's it. Nia can get busy, and she's getting busy with everybody. I just want to see Liv get busy one time with somebody and book it with somebody who's not fucking 6 feet. So
real quick,
let's get into it.
Is Raquel part of Judgment Day now?
That's an interesting question.
I hope so, but if not, that's fine because that way you can. If she's not, then that way Rhea could still not be involved in Judgment Day, and that way it gives Liv to do other things, and Priest can still do other things. So I wouldn't be surprised if they say she's not, but I would like her because then that makes her that would make Raquel the priest of the group to where she's technically honestly she'd be the next Rhea in the group, just not as big of a star, but she would be the muscle, because she's technically the biggest. She would be the biggest nigga in that group.
And we know how bodyguard angles work. Like bodyguard angles also shoot you into a different trajectory too. So if done correctly, this can get Raquel back into like big time picture, because that's what the bodyguard role typically does in wrestling. So I hope she is part of Judgment Day.
Before she had their eczema breakout and all of that stuff and what it turned into, if I remember correctly, she was building anyway. They were building her. She had a couple of matches where they were starting to build her before that happened. So that's why I was really excited for her to be back. So
main event time. Let's do it. Let's wrap it up. Cody, Roman Reigns versus Bloodline, Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa. Put them ones up. Acknowledge your tribal chief, the real one, Solo Sikoa.
Man, the entrance. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, I'm about to clip that. I got to put that up. Everybody had their fingers up, and I was like, yeah, got y'all niggas. That's what y'all get.
As we get into it, there were some verbal exchanges. I'll call it that. Some conversation from Solo in the ring that helps drive his case forward. But we'll start from the beginning. I just want to make sure I notate that verbally. So
okay.
Well, let's start with the entrance real quick. That shit was hyped.
Mm-hmm.
Cody with the choir, whatever. Roman with the orchestra,
the band. Yeah,
and it I don't know. Like it's what I hate to be that person, but the fucking aura, seeing these two characters. Like I know it was hated a couple weeks ago. Then you and DT kind of changed sides once you saw that Georgia video package of them talking in the field. But for the people that weren't already switch sides, I feel like if you didn't see that the first 5 minutes of that match, if you didn't finally get why they did this, then I think you're missing something. I don't know, man. It was, to me, it was like people do the Batman Superman comparisons, but honestly, it almost felt like a crossover of it. It almost felt like when you see fucking Spider-Man and Batman work together. I don't like it. Just there was something about the way that they presented it and the way that Cody and Roman are portraying themselves, their body language, and they didn't even do the will they won't they, like they like, you think that they start that way because like they're trying to figure out who starts the match, but they don't do the will they won't they. Like we're talking about the peak fucking superstars right here. We're not here for the can I get along with you, my nigga. Like you gave me your word, we both gave each other a word, we're going to get this shit done. So there is no like, are you afraid to tag me or some bullshit like this was two peak ass individual characters that had to join forces reluctantly, and they got shit done. And I am just I don't know. I was in awe of it personally.
I like the aura comment. I thought you were going another way with it because for me, this nigga's trying to flex. For me, not you, that nigga DT. He can't see because his camera's so goddamn high. But like this man brought out his one of 300 title belts that he has. The all red joint that he keeps slapping right now, which sounds a little crazy on mic. But
it's not his hand slapping it. That's what's crazy.
We're done. We're fucking done, bro. We're done.
God,
that is
egregious. that was so goddamn foul.
He laughed so hard. He done dropped out of
that shit was insane, bro.
Oh god, that's amazing.
He don't even get a bruv. That didn't get a bruv. That bruv. That was wicked. Okay. Yeah, this is not gonna make this comment any better now. But when it came to the aura off, I thought you were gonna talk about Roman. I thought this man came out the gate and just completely just swallowed Roman's aura or Cody's aura. Like the orchestra, the nigga came in the ring all jacked as fuck. Like it was like, damn, this man is like, he's it, bro. I keep saying to myself, like, this is why they wanted him to stay on Raw. Because you don't have to cross over into this, bro. You can't top the energy that Roman Reigns has, bro. It's inevitable. Like, it's so crazy that you're the champion. You came out first. The champion typically comes out last, bro. That's how it normally is.
Yeah, but this was like, Roman's first match since Mania. It made sense to me. But I do agree, champions usually come out first. I absolutely
usually come out last. So like in this moment, or at least this current like thing is like, bro, you're getting out championed by the nigga with no belt, bro. He's just that nigga. Like, and it's unfortunate, bro. It's hella unfortunate. As far as like match wise,
to me it was still,
bro. They gave this nigga the college marching band. This nigga got the whole orchestra. They brought up the symphonies and shit.
It's his first first time having this.
Hey, wait.
I like Bo. I like Bo.
Hold on, Loader. What they do? Do it again,
nigga. What are you talking about, bro?
So before,
bro, you can't do nothing, bro. Like he's just different, man. He's different. Keep them apart. He tried to. They say, hey, bro, take this match with Seth. You don't want these issues over here. You don't want no problems. He came over like, God, finish the story. Yeah, you finished it all right. This story's still running. The nigga left, came back, and the story's still running for Roman the Bloodline, bro. Like overall. I like the match. The match was good. There wasn't nothing too insane besides like the Cody fucking diving out the fucking ring shit on Jacob. That was fucking hard to me.
And before he did that,
both
he gave the Tribal Chief a salute.
Both high,
but also
there's a lot that we
the hot tags were dope too. I will give you that. Also, I want to talk about this nigga Jacob Fatu is entering invincible territory. We talked about this, hero.
Yeah,
talk about this nigga. This nigga is different now. He's entering.
It's getting Fiend-esque, and I'm worried. And that's not even that's not even me trying to exaggerate. Like the
barricade blew up. This nigga popped up.
Yeah, he's getting too strong. Like it's
It's getting too strong.
like no, like dead at like no, like they gotta tone it back some. Because like even Uncle Howdy is selling more than this nigga, and Uncle Howdy is magic. like, bro, like
So in the world of WWE, you got Supernatural and Super Samoan. You can't top Super Samoan, nigga. It's a wrap, bro. Like it's done.
it's that
Like-
damn, all that damn Samoan pride. But yeah, bro, he took a crossroads, he took a barricade bump. He took so many. It took the table spot to like finally keep him out of the
Take this
equation
nigga out.
for like fucking
Hey, they
5
took
minutes.
Cody out in the process. It took the champ out too. Like, look, that shit was fucking insane. Jacob Fatu is entering invincible territory, which lets you know, people, that do not come between a Samoan and Jesus. You will lose every time.
But real quick, yeah, Cody
like-
has both hot tags were fire. And I tweeted this also, and it's like, yeah, if you guys didn't think Roman was a face yet, like that crucifix pin, like that's a face move.
Yeah, I ain't never seen that nigga. He pulled out a crucifix pin.
Yeah.
That was
Similar
that
to what
was
I was
crazy.
talking about with Tiffany, like she did like 2-3 face moves on Friday. Like they're more like these niggas is like they're these people are faces now. Like if you weren't also Solo getting you can't wrestle chance was funny. Yeah, man. Yeah, Cody saves the match because there was a point like Roman gets jumped for a hot second. Like, yeah, he gets jumped and then Cody breaks the pin. Cody saves the match. That was a good spot. Yeah, man. Fucking goes through the barricade. Tanks across. He's taking a lot of stuff. He took a barricade and then a crossroads, back to back, and he's still wilding out.
It popped up.
Bro, like,
Yo, once Cody takes out Jacob through the dive, other bloodline comes out, Tama and Tonga, and they stop, the match of course, and on the outside the ring we get a return. Somebody pops out. I saw the video of him crawling out from under the ring, which is fucking insane. That shit was funny. But he pops out and we have the return of Jimmy Uso.
Jimmy!
One super kick, another super kick. That man Jimmy back. And wearing the We the One shirt. So I'm like, okay.
No, I thought
we're going back to like.
No, it said
they're not.
Yeah, they're not the ones.
Oh, they're not the ones. Yeah, they're not the ones. My bad. Yeah.
Yep.
Same font as the We the Ones, but they're not the ones. So they not. They not.
It's in the mail.
It's in the mail. It's on its way.
It's in the mail.
It's on its way. And I got a little excited about that. I like where they do it merch because they not the ones is it's what Jimmy and Jay were wearing. Doing the whole bloodline was we the ones kind of shit. I'm interested to see where they go. I don't think that it's going to be bloodline at War Games or bloodline versus bloodline. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's way too short of a time process for that to happen. But I'm paying attention to how this all orchestrates. I'm very tied in to see what Jimmy does or what's Jimmy's motives when he come back and whatnot, or how he comes back. But that helps Roman secure the win.
Unless Judgment Day on the men's side, unless Judgment Day is going to be in the bloodline match, I think we're still going to get some sort of bloodline in the match.
We talked about it.
Yeah, you and I talked.
You and
about
I.
It.
We talked to we looked at the weeks left till Survivor Series, and I guess you could say fantasy book, but or storyline fantasy wrote. But we talked about a way that they could potentially do it for it to happen. If we have time afterwards, we can talk about it. After we get to the conclusion of this match, if you want to add it on, we can talk about it. Before you get to the very end of the match, I just wanted to say something about the entrance with Cody. So the reason why Cody's entrance was significant was because after Cody won in WrestleMania 40, I think it was like July-ish, somewhere June or July, end of July. End of June, beginning of July, somewhere around there. The HBCU band for the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff was the first school to record and perform Cody's entrance. So that
That's
was
dope.
the school. They posted it on TikTok. He seen it on Twitter. He retweeted it, and then that was all that we heard from it. So I want to shout out Cody for two things. One, for not only noticing an HBCU and giving them a platform to perform their song, or perform his song rather, but then also like a day before Bad Blood, he was interviewed by some publication, and he talked about
was
the
Billboard.
importance of his black. Thank you,
Yeah, the Billboard one,
Billboard.
yeah.
He talked about the importance of his black fan base, and how it carried over essentially from his dad and that kind of lineage, and how he just wants to make sure he upholds that standard. So that was really dope by Cody. So I just wanted to, because we got too far away from the entrance, and I didn't want to interrupt y'all, but I had to get that in there. So
I appreciate that because that quote was good.
See that.
And honestly, his answer to that question is probably the reason he should probably start doing all the PR stuff.
Fuck,
because
bro.
his answer would have been better than Triple H, unfortunately.
Yep.
But
Fucking hell.
and there was a point in time where Cody was toned up too, like his Jesus Christ, I thought that was a spider. Because he did some weird shit in AEW, when he was talking about I'm having a mixed daughter. He also said he didn't see color for a while, but he's also changed.
He's been correcting himself.
Yeah.
Every time like Cody runs into a situation where it's like, oh, I was wrong, he educates himself and comes back like, hey, I was wrong and this is why.
Yeah.
I think in the one you're talking about, the AEW one, I think he was talking to Mark Henry, I think, and he was just saying like,
there was a couple,
somebody like
that. There was a couple because he was.
They asked him like when he said that he used to say he doesn't see color, but then his wife told him that like by you not seeing color, you don't see my experiences. Like you're invalidating my experience. And that's all it took for him to be like, okay, I now see what you're saying here. So I have nothing against Cody. Like I don't like the MLK shit. It's funny, but at sometimes when it gets in the wrong hands of certain people, it gets a little out of control.
Yeah.
I
hate the cookout shit. Like this person cookout because they know a Wayne verse. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
It's on a thin line for me, but I do respect Cody when every time they ask Cody about black people or, how his black fans resonate with him, like he's always in tune. He's always locked in. Going back to the end of the match, Roman and Cody get the win. Jay and Roman decide to like, hey, we out, we about to leave. Jimmy. As they're leaving, Jimmy, my bad. Jay,
they ain't twins.
And Jimmy, my bad.
One is a champion now.
They're still gonna be twins, no matter if he's 5 minutes apart.
Yeah.
Are we still twins? We born the same?
Yes, bro. Yes, you are still twins.
Y'all are college educated.
Big E was about to flip that whole table.
That's one of my favorite clips ever because boy was about to lose his mind. Y'all can't be this dumb.
Man, I really, side note, I really wish they bring that pod back. I was listening to that pod in real time. Like I was doing Amazon delivery while listening to that, and I'm cracking up, trying to hold boxes together while these things crashing out,
bro.
or even the meat, meaty meat man. Like this
big
is
like I'm big sweaty man bumping meat.
Like there's
what
that pod, man. Bring this. Anyway, back to the bat.
The pod was great. So Roman and Jimmy leave. As they leave, they see Cody getting jumped by the Bloodline, and at this moment, there's a crossroads between Jimmy and Roman where they're like, Jimmy's like, "Hey man, like go help him. Like you said you had his back," and Roman's like, "Nigga, this was one time.
One time.
You the OTC,
but you the OTC. Come on, like we can't leave him like that.
I'm with you. They played that
whatever
shit.
You said, do. I'm with you.
They played that shit so good.
It was great. Whatever you do, I'll do it. But like, we should go help him out. And this is cool because one thing, and now lets us know that Jimmy is still looking at Roman as like, you still make the rules. Like, yeah, I'm here, but it's still your game. But then also they go to help him, and as like they get the Bloodline off of him. It was a 2v4, and the motherfuckers quick work of that.
3v4.
3v4. Was it 3v4? Well, Cody was on the ground. So I'm gonna say it's 2v4.
Oh, yeah.
He was around.
Yeah.
Cody was around.
He was around. Yeah. He was just beat up.
He got back up.
He did
at some point.
Now, what's up?
Real quick. I think even just in terms of, because now based on the way that they've been doing this for the last 4 years, I like overanalyze everything that this particular storyline does in the moments because it all connects. I think the biggest thing for me watching it in real time was the consideration for, obviously, no pun intended, the acknowledgement of, hey, you're the OTC, you're the original tribal chief, the only one. I'm gonna follow whatever you say. But in the same hand, Roman's ability to now take counsel or take feedback from Jimmy as opposed to the way he was sunning him before. You do what I tell you to do. Why are you on my couch? Why are you running plays? Why you act like it's a long list, 4 years of it. But in that one moment, Roman was like, you know what? You're right. Let's go ahead and let's be about our word.
I'm listening to you
now. Yeah.
Bro, you just blew my mind. Because, yeah, you're absolutely right. I have not seen anyone else talk about that. And that's such a good...
That's
such a good,
good analysis.
Character development to where it's like, yes, like, he's... I don't want to use the word humble, but Roman is humbling himself a little bit to, where he's also listening to his new right hand.
To those around him.
Yeah, those around him, essentially.
He's finding that, like, the people around him were valuable. Like, he's like, I don't want to lose y'all because I did it without y'all and I see what it's like. So I'm taking in your opinion because I don't want to lose y'all. I value you guys more than, like, before you guys were just tools. Now I am not taking advantage of you guys' presence around me kind of thing.
Go. I mean, I could keep.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Them three in the ring. If you smell hits, final boss appears, and he comes out in the Versace and the People's Champion, the one that's from Muhammad Ali, I believe. And
you talk about
he
FTW
gives you the
championship. That's an FTW.
Jesus Christ, I'm so done with that.
You don't want that one? You don't want that?
It doesn't make any fucking sense, bro. It's the most egotistical title I've ever seen. But he made it for another family and gave it to himself.
Bro,
essentially,
if you are
you do what you want when you popping.
I did say that, but you just said that. But no. Listen. If it's not gonna have any storyline implications, I get it. You had it during the WrestleMania week and the first show after because he was just given.
He wanted something to hold next to Roman. No, it was literally for the visual. I'm sorry.
Stop. Just put the belt up, put it on the wall in your Iron Paradise. Look at it, use it as inspiration to lift weights. It has no bearing on what's happening in real life. Or, sorry, in wrestling. Let it go. Let the belt go. Don't bring the belt back, please.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's it.
What more can you say?
That's my spill on the belt.
You're welcome.
So he sits there. He looks at the ring. He's very confused a little bit, and then he puts up the 1, the 2, the 3.
The 4,
and then cuts his neck.
This nigga counts to 4 and cuts.
Was it 4? I thought it was 3.
He only did the 3.
I saw 4 fingers.
He did 1, 2, and then went like this. He went like this,
and then 3, and then fingers at the neck or cuts his neck, and then just walks off.
And then there was a 5-minute Instagram post.
Yeah, the 5-minute rant that meant nothing. I was 3.5 minutes in, and I was like, "This nigga is just ranting. Turn this shit off."
I got to a minute and a half. I was like, "Yeah, he ain't saying nothing." I'm not watching 5 minutes of this shit. You want to know what the final boss is thinking. You want to know what the final boss has, what he's feeling. Well, the final boss is feeling a lot of things after that match. Keep the camera rolling. How are you doing? Well, the final boss, this is what the final boss has to say. He's still thinking about it.
He's still thinking about it. Hey, how you doing? You doing good over here? You look good. If the Rock got a sister, he let you play. Like, what?
Yeah, what
the fuck is going on, bro?
But
yeah, in closing, we're gonna close it out with how do we feel? What do we think the reaction will be, and what would you want to see Rock go? Like, where's the angle you want to see him go with? DC, you go. You had something to say, so I want you to get your shit off.
Please. So I talked about this before, and I can't remember if it was all three of us, but I talked about at the end of a PLE. Or actually, it was supposed to be at the end of Survivor Series, if I remember right. Because it's supposed to be OG Bloodline versus the Bloodline 2.0. At the end of that War Games, my thought was the music would hit, The Rock would come out, he would be standing there, and then he would just leave. And to me, that was supposed to carry on into Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania, blah, blah, blah. Well, they did this earlier than I had anticipated, and what I had called. And I think the reason why is because, back to the point I was making, or going to make earlier, I think they're going to not speed book it, but put the pieces together faster for the Survivor Series War Games. And so I think that's why they did that then. The one thing I thought was super funny that made me laugh was the look he gave Roman and Cody was like the look your mom gives you after she tells you we're going to go in the store. You better not touch nothing. You better not look at nothing. And then you over there as a kid and you doing whatever you're doing and she just look at you. You know that look?
Yeah.
That was the look.
Oh, you playing. Okay.
Oh, you think it's a game.
You think this
But yeah, I think that now, as of right now, Roman is in the Rock sights officially. Because why the fuck you sitting there? We just went to war with this dude. I told you knew we had beef, and now what did Kendrick say? Kissing and hugging on stage. Two goats kissing and hugging on stage.
You attacking
handing him
family?
the belt back. Yeah, you handing him the belt back. You looking at each other like y'all all good. We not good. This was never over. So I think they did that a PLE or two earlier so they can book in between Bad Blood Now all the way through to Survivor Series to start to bring the gang back together. But that's what I'll say about that.
Oh, is it my go?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was the question?
What do you see? Where do you see Rock? What do you want out of this? Like, what do you want next for Rock? What would make sense for you? Like, where do you want this to go?
Oh man, honestly, I really don't have an answer for that. And the reason I don't is because last Sunday, DT and I were talking. Like you said, we fantasy booked. We just talked. We talked for hours. Actually, it was a really good Sunday. I needed a bro day, and I was speculating. Was like, I don't think because the whole thing for a year or almost for a year was like OG Bloodline versus New Bloodline, and I'm like, I don't know if Jay and Sammy is going to show up. And you and I talked about it also, to where it's like, I mean, they do have there technically is enough time until Survivor Series to try to make it make sense, but there is only still a finite amount of weeks to make it make plenty of sense. Like Roman still has to apologize to Jay. And even though Roman and Jimmy hugged out, he does technically still need to apologize to how he treated Jimmy. We still don't have Paul Heyman back, so. I was like, man, I honestly I thought the way that it was panning out before this show, I was like, man, yeah, we're not going to get OG Bloodline versus New Bloodline. I think we're going to get Roman, Cody, maybe Kevin, and Randy, unfortunately. But it looks like even that's changing now because there actually was something that we need to talk about after even this Rock stuff. But so as far as The Rock goes, until that Georgia tweet or Instagram, I also thought it wasn't going to happen this week. I also thought it might have been a little too soon. But I do think that H or whoever, they are trying to start planning things a little earlier. But as far as The Rock goes, I don't see him competing anytime soon. I don't think he's going to compete until Mania.
Nah.
So it's hard for me to answer that question of where do I see what's going on with The Rock. But based off of what we did see, the only thing I could guess is that, yeah, The Rock saw niggas hugging and kissing on stage, and he's upset that instead of Roman bending the knee, like how technically The Rock technically did bend the knee by acknowledging Roman, and so instead of Roman doing that and acknowledging Solo, granted he shouldn't, but instead of Roman doing that, he decided to team with the Zop. And now you're going against Blood. So now Rock has a reason to go against Roman, and whether he's the puppet master of this whole thing or whether it's The Rock just in the middle and now he's choosing a side, there's different ways that they could play it. Because at first it seemed like the theory was that The Rock was the puppet master the whole time, but the last couple months, with how much emphasis that they're making Solo being the new tribal chief, now to me that puppet line storyline wouldn't make as much sense. So now I think it's The Rock came out, he saw some shit. He's like, I'm seeing my cousin who I went to war with to fight this one dude. He's teaming with him now. He's going against his own cousin and his own other bloodline on some bullshit. Instead of bending the knee like I did, now it gives The Rock reason to insert dominance. Like, I got to take this whole shit over. Like, we got to scrap this whole thing. I got to take over the whole project because, like, all this shit went awry. So, I guess my answer is I don't know. I don't think The Rock is going to be the quote unquote puppet master or the leader behind the whole thing. But now I think The Rock has a reason to choose a definitive side, and that side is going to be with Solo in the New Bloodline.
All right, let me ISO this out real quick. So I don't know. I have no idea where Rock is going to go. Like I said, more logistical. Like I'm looking at like dates and shit like that. So we got Crown Jewel coming up on the 2nd, right? That's like 3-4 weeks away. Not being there. Survivor Series is on November 30th, right? Mm-hmm. So I would expect between now and Crown Jewel that if you were going to do the bloodline shit, it's go time, right? Because I think that the Crown Jewel is kind of like the middle mark to kind of like or a halfway mark to kind of have your story ready to go to do that. If nothing's ready by Crown Jewel, I don't think we're going to get Bloodline versus Bloodline. And before we talked about it to where we thought it was going to be like Cody, Roman, and fucking Randy and KO versus like the Bloodline. And that's definitely not going to happen because post this pay-per-view, we saw that KO attacked Cody outside of the arena via like fan like Instagram videos and stuff like that.
Multiple fan
so
was not
posted. Multiple fan accounts.
And people were like, why didn't they put this on? Like, why didn't WWE film it? You know why? Because it's spreading like fucking wildfire, and it's fucking
for sure.
It's working.
For sure. Like, from different angles, from different accounts, like everybody has their video, like everybody's in on like the entertainment. I thought that was great. I think it was really fucking.
I think it was very well put.
So now we got a KO thing that we got to figure out. We don't know what Randy's motions are. Like you said, Roman still got to apologize to Jimmy J, Sammy too. So like that's a lot of apologizing between now and November 30th. And I don't know if Roman's at all these dates. I know Rock's not going to be all these dates. I've seen some people talking about, SmackDowns are back because Rock's back. And I don't think that's the case.
Rock's not.
Although I do know, I think they go to San Jose this week or next week. They're in California. So he might make an appearance because it's on the LA side. But I don't know, man. I have no idea what to fucking expect. I just know that if it's not Bloodline versus Bloodline, it better be some crack. It better be some shit in there. It better be, I don't know, bro. Like some hitters, because that's what I'm expecting is Bloodline versus Bloodline. But yeah, unless y'all got anything, we can get out of here. Y'all got anything you want to
add? I do got something, but it depends on if you want to talk about it while we're recording, or if you want me to tell you essentially my fantasy writing and booking to get there offline.
It's relevant to the conversation. No, you can drop it.
Get it off real quick.
We ain't got no Patreon, so you might as well drop it here.
Catch us on Patreon for $5. No, all right. So here's what I had spoke with Hero about earlier is the way because he said the same thing. He was looking at the time, right? So before Bad Blood, we had essentially 8 weeks from Bad Blood to Survivor Series. What they've shown you they can do in the past and what they've done as recently as I think it was a week and a half ago was storylines crossing over on the same show, right? And so my thought process was that they can show a recap on Raw, even though technically Jay was now there at Bad Blood. He was in the suite, but they could show a recap on Raw after Jay's match with Xavier Woods about what happened, or even before. They could show the recap of what happened, Jimmy coming back. Obviously, Jay's already acknowledged it on social media, but they could show the recap. Jay could be watching the recap the same way KO was watching that vignette in Georgia with Cody and Roman, right? Yeah, so he could watch that, see his brother is back. He doesn't have to say any words at that point. He could just watch it and see it, smile, shake his head, you know what I'm saying, and go on about coming out to the ring, yada yada yada. They either can or he doesn't have to mention his brother coming back in his promo. That can be a seed that's planning so that people are aware that this is going to potentially happen. Fast forward to that Friday, you know, we get a segment, bloodline segment, just between Roman and Jimmy. Roman apologizes. I missed you. Blah blah blah. I was wrong. Da da da. All of that. And he was like, in order to defeat Solo and the Tongas and Jacob, we got to do this the right way. And Jimmy's like, well, there's only one way to do it the right way. Oos. Boom. That's it. That's the segment. Fast forward to the next week. They show up on Raw. And you can do this again because you've already started showing the crossover in between from the first time Jay sees Jimmy come back. So you can do it that way. It's just Jimmy that shows up to congratulate Jay on being the IC champion. Little brother, you acting like the big brother now. You got the belt, yada, yada, yada. I'm happy for you. This is what we always talked about, what I wanted, blah, blah, blah. Jay goes out, does his thing, comes back, and Jimmy's like, hey, I want to talk to you about something. And it fast forwards to it could be the end of the show, whatever the case is. They bring him in the room. You open the door. You see Roman is in the room, right? That's it. That's that for that show. And they could just continue to weave it that way. And Roman apologizes to Jay. Jay's like, I'm doing my thing. I'm on my own now, Oos. I'm the IC champion. I'm doing my thing on Raw. But I'll come back for you this one time, just this once. But if we're going to do it, we got to do it the right way. And then that's how you bring in Sammy. So you have like an 8-week window where you can thread this, and the writing could be much more cohesive than this, but it's just a thought process. You have an 8-week window where you can weave these stories together because you've already shown before that you can do it with having multiple storylines interact with each other on shows anyway. So that was kind of my thought process.
Okay. I see it. Like you said, you got to like weave it through like the 8 weeks, but also now we only got 2 hours to tell this because now Raw is 2 hours now. So like everything has to be intentional. Everything has to mean something. You don't have enough time to miss a spot.
4 hours if you can.
But I like
that. Because Jake,
4 hours
Rich,
to back.
Jake could always show up also. And honestly, I think what DT's because like you said, him and I, we talked about it, and I think that is probably the best route. They just got to be careful of not rushing it because like we've all been in a situation as a human to where like someone you might have had a falling out and someone needs to apologize to you, and it could be emotional overload if you have both Jimmy and Roman apologize at the same show. Like it should be a work in progress, but they if we're going to get OG Bloodline or even just a small version of OG Bloodline for War Games, they do have to slightly speed it a little bit. But yeah, I think that is an easier possible route, especially now that it seems like Cody's out of the equation, and that must mean Randy will be out of the equation as far as War Games go. So Jimmy and Roman, because like it's been assumed that it was going to be Bloodline versus Bloodline for War Games, and I feel like it's still a slight safe assumption because, like I said, like unless Judgment Day gets a new story in the next couple of weeks, there's not a big enough feud with 5, whether it's 8 or 10, like because sometimes there's 4 people, sometimes there's 5 people, so like there's not a big enough storyline on Raw for you to justify War Games with 4 to 5 people for 8 to 10 man War Games. Like it has to be,
unless it's
it has to be
fucking White 6, but like I don't see anything that they're doing right now that would allow them to get in like that. Like
because
they're the only big group that I know.
Yeah, and they finished their storyline. Like this last Monday, they're hinting at attacking someone new, who I'm speculating it might be Woods. That's my speculation, but because their whole vignette, real quick, because we didn't talk about Raw, their whole vignette was like, don't go down this route. You know what happens if you go down this route. Essentially, if you go down this route, there'll be a problem. And I feel like I feel like if they're not talking about Finn, which I don't think they are, then they're talking about someone who's about to turn heel. Is how I took it, and Woods seems to be that person. But regardless, either way, yeah, there's just I feel like Bloodline has to be in the War Games based off of the amount of characters that they have and based on the storyline. But as far as what the baby faces have, as of right now, it's only Roman and Jimmy. And if Cody's taken out, like unless they do what they did the other year, where like Drew helps out Judgment Day and Cody is up, like, and I don't think they're going to do that because I don't think Kevin Owens is going to team with Fatu. So I don't, yeah. So
not happening.
So I like so assuming
it'd be entertaining as fuck, but not.
It would make zero sense. Like you're so mad at Cody helping Roman that you're going to team with Fatu and Tonga Loa and Dama. No, it's not. It would not make any sense. So we have to assume that Cody and KO will not be part of this War Games. So that means, yeah, how is Roman and Jimmy going to get the numbers up? So yeah, so I think
the ball has to start rolling out.
Yeah, it has to start rolling out. Niggas got to start. We got to get this apology tour happening. You got to get your notes. Yeah. Get your notes app out. Get on Zoom. We got to get the
fuck. Yeah, it's time to go.
We got to get this apology tour happening.
So like this whole time, Roman and like has been saying nothing has changed about my character. Because he's trying to let you know he's not really a babyface, even though everyone's treating him that way. For him to take that true babyface turn, he would have to go around and be like, "Hey, I was wrong. I needed y'all. I mistreated y'all." Something to that effect. You know what I'm saying? For us to restore order in the family, I need y'all. Blah blah blah.
And I feel like it has to happen next week. I feel like Jimmy and Roman should get beat up this Friday. If it is in San Jose, I feel like Rock should come out, and this should be The Rock finally siding with one team, and they should get jumped because it's a numbers game thing, and then that's when it's like, all right, if we're going to do this, we got to do this the right way.
We're outnumbered. We got to
apology tour.
They do. They need that. Yeah. All right. So closing out the pod, and just a quick answer. Well, not a yes or no, but just a quick answer of who wins. Who would you like to see win in the event of a Bloodline versus Bloodline? OG versus new, like who do you think makes the most sense to win that?
All right, for a bigger pop, you'll want the OG Bloodline to win. But to me, to get the story to WrestleMania, it has to be, in my mind right now, at least the way I'm thinking of it, has to be The Rock or at least the Bloodline 2.0.
Okay. What about you, Hero? Who you got?
I say you have OG Bloodline win, and then that's when you have Rock finally maybe decide his part in it. We get like a Rock bottom or something. Obviously, you won't be too physical until Mania. But I say, like, because honestly, there was a part of me that thought Cody and Roman should have lost. But I think the way that they booked it, it made sense. And I wouldn't be mad if OG Bloodline won, because if it's a one-time event, like this is bringing the band back together for this one last tour, I think, the bigger pop would be you have OG Bloodline win, especially because Jay's a singles champion right now. You know, Sammy's in the the main title picture-ish. So, I think you have OG Bloodline win, but you end... They win, but it ends with a bad result, which is The Rock finally choosing a side and attacking Roman or something like that.
I will go new Bloodline win. It's a Bloodline 2.0 for the fact of the same reason you said, DT, just to like kind of extend the story a little bit, but also in the aspect of like, you're right. Like Jay's been solo, Sammy's been solo, Roman's been moving on his own, Jimmy just came back. We are out of chemistry. The boys are back together, but we are not the same boys that we were before. And I think just because of that aspect alone, like we were not the Bloodline. We are the Bloodline, but we haven't been the Bloodline in a while, and we're rusty. I think the new Bloodline should get the win. They've been working together. They've been on like the same like page. They're all working as a unit. I think this is a good moment to make it look like for them to actually take like the step ahead of like, you have to beat us. Y'all the old school. Y'all not fucking with us.
My thing is, I understand that argument, but like if Cody and Roman, who never tagged together ever, could win a match, then old OG Bloodline could win this match, and you can still get heat, still get the heat on the new Bloodline if they attack them after the match is over because of Rock's help. Either
And
I
there's
mean
also
either way
there's
could
also
work.
like emotions involved.
Yeah.
Like, what if he tries a little bro Jay, and Jay's like, I'm not that. Whoa,
Mm-hmm.
you're not this. What if, like, there are some kind of like impasse because of like, I don't trust you yet, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
To where like we didn't get a lot of what he won't they in this match with Roman and Cody, but you might get that a little bit more in the bloodline aspect because, like, bro, we don't trust you. Like, Sammy fought Roman, Jay fought Roman, like, they've been on like these. The apologies are apologies, but you can't forget past experiences. I can
Mm-hmm.
forgive, just not forget. So I would love to see that aspect play a little bit more into like the team up possibility. But yeah, we're gonna end it here. That was our Bad Blood and Dynamite episode. Y'all, hope y'all enjoyed that. Once again, if you want to check us out, please check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We everywhere. We definitely moving. I'm definitely proud of what we've
We
been doing.
global.
It's been great. It's been great, yo. But without further ado, we're gonna get out of here. It's been real. I'll catch y'all later.
Too sweet.
Yes, sir.